Peggy 12.
With the Tren modular play system, the possibilities are endless. Introducing Big Popter with supersized cargo bay for your heavy lifting needs. Tren, where imagination meets innovation. Batteries not included.
Hello, everybody. Thank you to everyone that absolutely got what we were trying to do in that
what
cold
we were
open.
going for. I was assured that it's a deep cut for the real ones. Real ones know. Hey, man.
It was a nice
Paducah.
callback to our first ever big dream stream in 2018, where we effortlessly revealed the beta, the date, and had no audio issues.
For any newcomers for Tren and Media Molecule, they go like, who are these amateurs? No, it's a bit. It was a bit.
It's so funny. I'm so happy.
Funny.
Thank you, Jon.
We're all laughing
Yes.
just behind you.
Do you know why we're here today?
We're here because Dreams is out on PS Plus, and as part of all this, our headline event, Tren.
Behind us, all around in the Dreamverse, it's out.
It's out.
Ah.
It's Tren's Day.
Round of
It
applause.
is. It is.
Get a round of applause from everyone in the
It is the one, the true Tren. That's
I'm sure
Jon
Ollie and
packing
Lisa
his cake.
really appreciated me starting a...
Ollie was like, I'm actually freaking out. It's like, it's a bit, it's fine. It's fine. But yes, welcome to the launch day for the much anticipated and much loved Tren, which is now available to play in Dreams right now. Go and play it.
Go.
Oh my goodness, it has been a labour of love, and it is finally here, and we are obviously in the Media Molecule studio.
Yes.
And the hype is real.
I tweeted earlier the atmosphere, and it's such a cliche saying, the atmosphere is electric.
It really is.
But goodness me.
It's
We
amazing.
had a lovely moment when the game came out. Jon gave a lovely speech.
Yes.
It was
That
lots
was
of
my
hugs.
first
I think
my first cry of the day. Happy cries only, we hope. Everything's going well.
everyone
it seems.
hugged him. Like all the molecules just, and poor Holly was like stuck in the middle of the hug. It was just a whole thing.
I mean, that's the sweet spot. That's
It
where
is,
you want to
yeah,
be, in the
right
middle of
in
the action.
Middle of the molecules. So over the next 3 hours or so, we've put together a little celebration for all things Tren. We're going to hear from all the lovely minds behind the game, including, of course, the man that was just sat here eating cake, first and foremost. We'll have Jon Eckersley and Theo Hain talking about art in Tren. Then we'll have the lovely audio team, Ollie, Lisa, and Tom Colvin, coming in talking about the sounds of Tren. We'll have some talk about level design with Kat, Erin, and Maggie. We're also going to check out those snap points are out in Dreams now.
Oh my gosh,
which is
snap
very exciting.
points. This is going to mean a huge amount to the Dreams community. Just an amazing way of kind of having things fit together perfectly, in beautiful harmony,
And
easier than
effortlessly.
ever. And you can not just for Tren tracks, you can attach them to anything. You can make anything just kind of click together. So anyone wanting to make Dreams that help people, snap stuff together in a flash, like that is going to be great for that. So we are so excited to see what the Dreams community do for that.
We're going to have Bogdan
Yes.
Vera make his return to an MM
The
stream
pro.
to come and showcase those. And then I'm trying to think if we've also going to have Kat join Jon to talk about the amazing Tren Set
Yes.
that's out as well, because there's over 550 pieces to play around with in Dreams as of today, to make your own Tren tracks or just using your own things. And then we're going to end the stream with just a bit of Tren and chill.
Yeah, Tren and chill.
Set some high scores. I'm going to beat Jacob
Well, we'll see.
I'm going to beat him at some high
Remains
scores. I'm
to
not
be
just going to
seen.
sit here and just like...
The bravado coming
the
out.
confidence.
My goodness. But yeah, we're so excited. Obviously, we've got loads of people here today for the Tren launch in the studio. So
including...
you just get to see a lot of faces.
Yes, including. And we've got a very special corner of the studio happening. We have a crafts corner with the two Johns. If we quickly cut to them...
I love it.
Tren track.
They are going to be putting together a Tren Set throughout the stream. You might have seen some photos on social media from our press event. They're going to be using that lovely cloth table, decorating it with all sorts.
Constantly cake.
It wasn't a pre-recorded bit. It was actually real.
It's
I
all
love
real.
the tie. I love the look at it. You look like you're about to present like... You know, like
Is this
like a shopping channel.
Is this like CEO casual? Is this what this?
It's good cake.
Is it great cake?
It's really good cake.
CEO kind of casual core. I love it. I love it. I might start doing the tie around the bare neck.
Yeah,
like,
it works.
Maybe that's,
it works.
It's very very. Cool.
Let me just check it. I'm going to bend over here because I've put the chat in a really awkward position for myself.
Oh. Oh no! Can we?
Everyone's very excited about Tren.
I mean, maybe we should just
I'll
get
bring
you a
that
phone
closer
or
to
a
myself
laptop or something.
because I'm not just going to start like.
Just so we don't
doing
cut off
this,
half your
like,
head, so that you can
like
talk
Kate
to chat.
Winsletting, like the whole stream. So hello, we see in the chat. We've got Holly and Luke are also in the chat. So if you've got any questions about Tren, please do let us know. On bits and pieces. I think that's it.
I think that's
So
it.
we're going to go home now. That's
Well,
the Tren celebration done.
that's it.
Nothing more to do.
No,
They've
don't go
built-
anywhere.
They've
Don't
built
change-
their track. You can see that one piece of track done.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's what we've hired out the art director and
No.
creative director of Media Molecule to do for 3 hours. Look at that! Look how happy they are.
You know, every Tren track is special. Just some are really unique. Minimalist. It's a minimalist kind of. It's a commentary really
It is
on the nature of creation. It's more of an art installation than like a playable piece.
That's exactly how I imagined it.
Wonderful.
And of course, I have to shout right at the start of the stream. We've got Ryan Wilkinson on the controller playing the game right behind us. We'll have that on throughout the stream.
Demo pro.
Right, he has been playing Tren. He's been practicing. He's feeling confident. I think we'll say hi to Ryan for the first time on a stream later as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we'll see some new faces today.
I know, I'm so excited we can actually bring everybody in and have a giant celebration for Tren. It's like, the best news possible. And of course, we are on PS Plus, so
Yes.
hopefully we're going to get loads of new people. In fact, we've been refreshing in Dreams all day.
Yeah, we've not been
watching.
obsessively looking at everyone
No,
coming
we've not
into
been
Dreams
watching the
all
number
day.
go up all day. But, you know, not just playing Tren, but playing all of your creations in the Dreams community. Oh my gosh, amazing. Which like people loving Hookshot, people loving the back rooms,
Yeah.
loads of love for Trip. Like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to see.
I forgot about a part that we're going to have in the stream.
Yeah, that's quite
I'm
important.
so sorry.
I mean, but I was going to segue nicely because
it.
I will.
I knew you were.
I will soon leave.
Same brain.
This space, but please don't.
It's just the stream.
I will
just
soon,
the stream.
soon leave this
Like,
realm.
Just going over there.
Oh my god, what a reveal that would be. Bye. Anyway, so I will be off, but I will be back.
Yes.
At
Sorry.
around like 20 to 5,
Like, yeah,
maybe?
20 to 5 later.
With a few people from our amazing Tren manual team. And we're going to be giving you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes scoop on how we made the Tren manual, or how we found it, you know, in a dusty attic. Anyway,
made?
well, exactly. You know, more like rescued it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have the amazing Liam Wiseman on stream. We're going to get Jacob Hayes on stream. Don't know if you know that guy. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about making that. So look forward to that. But,
Should we do a
so
shout out?
I will be rejoining.
Should we do a quick shout out to the amazing curation work
Yes.
of Ali and Jacob in
Oh
game
my
right
goodness.
now? We've had so much love on Twitter
Yes.
from older dreamers. The front of Dream Surfing at the moment is mwah.
It's so
so
exciting
good. I
to
did
see.
2 chef's kisses.
Yeah, like curation team and also our analytics team, Rich and Zach, been absolutely doing the most. It's always amazing to see, like particularly those 4 working together. It's just the bright minds, kind of with the science and the, you know, a little drop of this creation, a little smidge of that creation, mix it together, and what does that do to the engagement? And they're in absolute heaven at the moment. So imagine all the data flooding in, all the players. We're like, oh, what do you want?
It's very useful.
Let us serve you up some sweet dreams. So yeah,
I think we've done a good intro. Well done.
I think so.
Well done.
So yeah, I will go, but don't panic. I'll be back
You're coming back
with my
just leaving
posse,
me.
and we will talk to you about the joys of print media. You'll never shut me up. You will never shut me up.
So we're going to swap you
Yes.
For
Who's
him.
in? Who's in? Oh, John.
I think we're going to put
Should
a
we do
call out
like
for Siobhan to join us as well.
How are we going to do it? Like
We're
graceful.
just going to swap it.
How are we going to do like a graceful handover?
We're not.
We're not.
I think everyone in this room, nearly everyone in this room, has
Yeah.
teal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very important part of Beech Corp.
I'm going to bring our people over a little bit, in case they've got any questions for you. But we've got the game behind us. John, you're here with me now.
Hello.
How are you?
It's me, Jon Beech.
It's you, John Beech. What are you doing? Oh, you're right here. You got this?
Yeah, I've got it.
Do you want me
I
to
got
do
it.
that for you?
There you go. We got it.
John, we've not been on a stream together for ages.
We have not.
No.
That is just not good enough.
It's not, no. Okay, sorry.
But we're back.
That's so much more hardcore coming for you now as like creative director.
You're in trouble now.
How you feeling?
Emotional.
Yeah.
Emotional. Very emotional.
Yeah.
All different emotions all at the same time. I'm keeping a big,
You got
cool face. Yeah.
cool, suave face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big
As
day.
as all CEOs.
As all
you know.
CEOs.
I can't
Are
actually
you
show.
here today
show emotion.
as CEO of Beech Corp or as creative director of Media Market or
well,
as Jon Beech,
holy moly.
the lead designer on Tren?
I'm in a superposition of all
Yeah.
three of those
That's why
entities
that's why
at
you've
once.
got the tie.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's it like having Tren out there?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Really incredible.
Obviously, we can see it. Ryan derailed.
Oh, Ryan.
That's awkward.
No, incredible. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Mostly to see everyone else's work out there because, as I think I've mentioned before, it's become like this huge team effort for the studio. And everyone's really poured in so much love and care and attention. I think any time anyone joined the Tren team, I just said, don't tell anyone, but basically stick any Easter eggs you want to put in anywhere. You know, so there's all kinds of call outs to everyone who helped on it. You know, like everyone will know Alex's Prince Laser out there.
Yeah.
There's a little tank manual out there. You know,
Is
so,
there?
he likes
Oh.
tanks in one of the levels. You know,
Yeah.
Christoph. You know, he's making the spaceship flight simulator on Gene's Vector Majoris. So
Yeah.
there's like a little Vector Majoris sort of model kit in there. So there's all these kind of call outs, and it's going to be really fun for the community to try and find them all.
Yeah.
Lots of Easter eggs. There's some llamas, I believe.
Yeah, of course
somewhere.
there's some llamas. I think he might have Jamie Breeze might have messaged me one day, being like, "I'm just putting llamas in and not telling anyone."
Yeah, yeah.
So,
which is what I
find
said.
them.
Don't ever tell me. Just put stuff in there, you know, and then we'll deal with the consequences later.
So you started first time community saw Tren. Well done, Ryan. Good work. Strong work.
It's a white.
That's why. Can we bring the game? Can we bring the game so we can see a bit more of the game?
Oh, there we go. Hello, game.
It's mate, it's so good.
Oh,
Man.
look, so all the climbers there. That's
Yeah.
a call out to John Exley and Theo, the artist, and they do a lot of rock climbing.
Oh,
So, yeah,
is that right? Oh, yeah.
Little-
There he is.
Yeah, he'll be on later to
Yeah.
talk about it more, but yeah,
About his rock climbing.
about his rock climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not about Tren.
So the first time, I mean, let's wind it right back. First time people saw Tren, the community saw Tren, was the lockdown live streams we did.
That's right.
Way back on, I think the first one was the 20th of March, 2020.
Holy moly.
Just a little while ago, and
Yeah.
like, you had the Mark 1 Tren.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And it's obviously grown since then. But what's the origin of Tren for people that are unfamiliar with it?
We started doing something in MM in the studio called like Jam Fridays.
Yeah.
And it was basically where we could like have a jam on Fridays and like try and figure out things that we could add towards dreams or the studio. You know, it's just somewhere where we could be like really collaborative, which like embodies our studio.
Yeah.
And I was sat down and I was like, I just really want to make a really good game, but how can I make a AAA quality game in dreams on my own was basically like my train of thought. And so I don't really know how it happened exactly, but I was like, I really like making realistic things. So I just made one little bit of track. That was it, just one straight bit of track, and I was like, this is it. This is the thing. That one bit
Light
of track,
bulb.
yeah, just light bulb. And started making it, and you know, since then it's just grown and grown. Obviously back then it was a personal project, so I was like tweeting about it, and people were like, you should add a boat, and I was like, okay, add a boat. You should add a loop. Okay, I'll add a loop.
I think there's a bit in that first trailer where you're like, yeah, I don't know, like the gameplay might have some like high scoring, like picking up cargo. It was amazing to re-watch that stream and obviously see where it's at now.
There was a bit on that stream where we made a button that made it into the game. That
Yes,
button we
the
made
blue,
on the stream,
like
the blue
the-
button. And also someone said, oh, can like your train, because it wasn't even called Tren back then, drive upside down.
Yeah.
So I had a loop. I went, oh yeah, I guess if you put some like full suppliers, and I kind of did it live on stream, this thing hanging upside down. But that became a feature in the game. So all the ideas for Tren just came from everything around me. Like Tren told me what it wanted, and everything just came towards it. So.
And then when you brought in other people, like obviously the team grew, like you brought in more and more people. What was it like, sort of like bringing them on board? We should have had a pun counter like, on the side that we just like tick,
Ting,
or like
ting,
a whiteboard,
ting, ting,
and it's just like full by the end of the stream. Everyone's really tired.
Yeah, in Tren's thing. Yeah.
What? Okay. What was it like bringing people on board? I'm going to say on board with Tren and like getting that sort of like the emotion across to people. Like everyone obviously really clicked with Tren from the get go, but like getting your vision to them.
Yeah, I think.
What was it like?
Tren, I was very lucky with Tren. It's one of those projects that kind of tells you what it is just by looking at it. You look at it and you go, it's a toy train, and that's kind of all you really need to know.
Yeah.
But then there was all the sort of subtleties I wanted to put in there about nostalgia, my childhood, like my relationship with my dad, and now my relationship with my daughter Betty. I really wanted to sort of build into that. And every time someone came in, they added their own subtlety, their own layers to it. And I remember there was one really crucial moment for me, which is when Jon Exley came on. You'll get to see it a bit. And he was like, I really love what you've done here, Jon. It feels something really special, and I really want to support it.
Yeah.
And he says, I just want to like help you get it so people understand it. And he did something called a viz dev, which is where he basically like took one of the sort of levels that I'd made, and he arted it up beautifully, really sympathetically to what I'd done. He was worried about like adding too much art. Like he was like, it already looks beautiful. How can we actually? What else can we do to it? And as soon as he'd done that, and we started showing it to people, it just. I think people who didn't understand Tren to that point suddenly really understood Tren.
Yeah.
And it just became so integral. So me and Jon just formed this really... I mean, we already had a great relationship. I'm really good friends with Jon already, but we just formed this amazing working relationship for Tren, which just got stronger and stronger as we added more people.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to just tell people what that was when they came in, and the way we set it up allowed people to find their own story in Tren. So at any time anyone joined, they understood what Tren is, but then they also found room for themselves, which I think was what made it really easy for people to come on board.
And did you see people like sort of bringing in their own like influences on their own childhood or like their own nostalgic bits and pieces throughout?
Oh yeah,
like,
that was mega.
Seeing everyone's effect on Tren, like it becoming more obviously just more than just yours, but still maintaining the idea.
That was really important, actually. That was one of the things that me and Jon would say to everyone. And I think it was actually Todd who wrote lots of the music for Tren. He was the one who really sort of picked up on that. He came into Tren at some point and he was like, I love everything you've done here. I really love the nostalgia. But he says he felt it was important that it was everyone's nostalgia, not just like mine or Jon's. It's like, how do you make it nostalgic for everyone? And then that really influenced like lots of the choices we made about it. So at that point, that's when we were really saying to everyone, what was childhood to you? What was it like? What's nostalgia to you? And then we got all that basically put into the game. All the ideas came in really thick and fast. And
I think it's fascinating because like Brio train sets is like everyone at some point. I think I was talking to Siobhan earlier, and like we both didn't realise how integral train sets were to us as kids, and I think it's when you see it like, oh yeah, like this is what I used to play with.
Yeah, for me growing up was my dad. He was obsessed with trains. He still is. He sends me. I mean, I got like 5 pictures of him today of a model field that he's made with like plough lines and stuff. Like he really loves trains. He still loves trains.
Yeah.
And so me growing up was making. I'd just sit there. I was like 5, 6, but I'd watch Dad like make trains and stuff. And then he worked at a toy department. He worked at a department store, but I would always go and meet him in the toy department, and they had all the train tracks running around. And anytime anything was returned, somehow it would end up to me, which is really great. So like I had like a large amount of toy trains when I was younger, and it really means a lot to me. I don't know what it is about trains. It just, for me,
connects.
just connects. Yeah.
And you're saying obviously now you've got your relationship with Betty, and it's the same kind of thing, and it's amazing to see her playing with them as well.
Yeah, Betty calls Tren her train game because she's seen me, like we've done a lot of working at home recently.
Yeah.
So she would just come up to the room and she'd be like, "It train game, it Betty train game," and she would just sit on my lap and she would just and so I'd make little tracks for her, which I encourage anyone to do who's a parent with a child. If you're going to play Tren, because you can make your own tracks, you can just make like little loops so you can't crash. You can just press R2, L2, go forwards and backwards.
Round.
It's really fun. Betty loved it. Yeah.
What's it been like? Obviously, it released 5 hours ago or so. you had a chance to see people reacting online, and like we've seen a few things on Twitter of people being like, "Oh yeah, like this just takes me back." Like, what's it like seeing it have like it having the desired effect?
It's really something else, actually. I think it was Greg, Game Over Greggy. He posted about it because he has a son who's about the same age as Betty, a little bit younger, but still,
Yeah.
And he's really into trains, and so for me, it's really amazing that Greg's going to get to play with his son. I think that's just. I don't need any more than that. I don't need any more than literally that one moment for me to be happy with what's happened with Tren. To build those relationships, and it makes me. I'm going to try not to cry, but those moments.
Oh man. We should we'll move and let's talk about what Tren like actually is, what people are like playing, like what they're doing it today. So what are people, if they've not yet had the chance to get home, they've downloaded Dreams, new PlayStation Plus players, what can they expect to find in Tren?
I really like designing stuff.
You
and
do?
I'm like a massive nerd when it comes to like little models and stuff. So like when I was making the models, like I wanted to put all the mold lines and all that kind of stuff. But then I was like, I want them to be fun. I don't want them to just look pretty. And at that point, my brain split into two.
Yeah.
Because I've got my like adult brain, right, who just wants to play with Tren, like really professional, like a CEO, who's going to be like delivering the stuff, and carefully getting the crane over, and like, not making any mistakes. Which is cool. It's a really valid way of playing Tren. But also the kid in me was like, I just want to drive and crash and like, just zoom them up, like tracks that don't end. And so at that point I was like, how do I have that? How do I have my cake and eat it?
Yeah. Well, I give it to you on a plate.
Yeah. Start a stream.
You eat it in your place anyway.
But it was important for me that both of those aspects survived into Tren. So the challenges have somewhat, for the most part, become...
As you can see one here.
The way...
You got this, man?
Kids play Tren, or younger people, zooming around and stuff. And then there was going to be a different mode in Tren, which I was going to call layouts, because it's what my dad always used to call train tracks, layouts, where it was going to be like the really sort of serious side of things. But really, we didn't quite have time for that. It was going to be quite tricky. And they ended up becoming like the world maps, essentially, the amazing art that Jon and Theo did.
Yeah.
But because I still wanted a flavour of that, even in the challenges, we have different types of challenges. We have like the non-time challenges, which is all about sort of being chill and like collecting your cargo and using cranes and helicopters and all that stuff without the timer. The timer stuff is all like frantic and wild, and the music's high intensity, and you've got to zoom around and try and get to the end. But there's a lot of levels, so we've got 95, I think it is, levels of wild Tren action. There's some really cool special levels in there, which I'm really excited for people to play.
Yeah.
Special levels were when we had made something really cool, either some art or like a gameplay mechanic. We're like, well, we don't really have time to make like a whole section of the game about this, but it's really cool and deserves to live. And so we made all these little special levels dotted around that you'll find, and you'll go, oh, that's a special level.
Yeah.
You'll get it when you get there. Yeah. But yeah, there's obviously the whole kit. So
yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a session later with Kat, and I think you're joining to talk about like the set itself.
Yeah, can't wait to get Kat on. She, my God, the attention to detail that Kat has surpasses mine by levels that I cannot even express. Like, I have a high attention to detail, right? And Kat is like, you're sloppy at best, Jon. And like has sorted everything out. So I thought I was building the kit really well. I was priding myself. I was placing stuff on the grid. And Kat comes in and goes, you've got all these things like rotated like 90 degrees off axis. And I was like, well, we better fix that. And I said to Kat, like, let's just do all these things. It's really important. So whenever you bring in a bit of Tren track, like this is the attention to detail. How you have like there's a pip at one end and there's the hole at the other where the track connects together.
Yeah.
The hole is always on the left and the pip is always on the right, as it comes in. So it feels like you're sort of laying natural. And like Kat had to go and manually check and rotate all of these. When she did it, because we didn't cheat with the game, all the levels are made out of the track pieces.
Yeah.
And then any level we had, when you went in and hit the update button, the whole level just sort of went, and all the tracks rotated like nights. And it took us like about a week to like put them back into place. But we'd got snap points by that point, so it made it like mega easy in comparison to what it would have been before. So yeah, like shout out to Kat for like her just commitment, absolute dedication to making sure everything was like upright, on grid, labelled, snap points in the right place.
Yeah.
Everything. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Amazing.
I can't wait until she comes on and talks about it.
Yeah. And then I can't wait to see what people do with. I'm so excited to hopefully see some community creation track. So we saw a Pig Detective. Shout out to Pig Detective team. We're in the month of Boffington.
Yeah.
That's good. Boffing Tren.
Boffing Tren.
That's the real blockbuster of the summer.
Boffing time.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what people do with that set. 'Cause obviously, they'll create a bunch of trend tracks, but I think they'll start doing some. Obviously, they'll start doing some really clever stuff.
We got a sneak peek of that actually when the QA team really came on board and started doing stuff, and so we obviously got them testing the kit at one point, which essentially means make a load of stuff with the kit is one of the ways to test.
Yeah.
And the QA team really got involved in that. And I remember there was one level that they uploaded a video of, and it was basically like up in the clouds. It was all like pink candy floss, and there was like Pomeranians like next to the track. You know, Costa was just like,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. And I was just like, that's the glimpse of the kind of genius that I want to see people making.
Yeah, we have to give a massive shout out to the QA team.
Oh, massive!
Like
shout
just
out.
huge, like the like you're saying, like the amount of work they've done, but like just their knowledge of the game, like everything they've done to support this game is this thing is huge.
Yeah, huge.
And they have just absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, and their attention to detail, again, massively high. There was one bug that I remember seeing, which was there's a cheese grater somewhere in one of the levels.
Of course.
And there was a bug that the cheese grater was backwards, and you wouldn't be able to grate properly because instead of grating like away from you, you would have to like grate up towards you, which would have been hard.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a bug that the cheese grater was like back to front, and I was like,
I feel that's only a bug in Dreams.
yeah,
It's only a bug that we really get.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
cheese grater is the
cheese
wrong way
grater's the
around.
wrong way. Yeah, but, yeah, massive shout out to the QA team, all of them, ridiculous talent, and Tren wouldn't be where it is without them for sure.
It really has been just this massive team effort.
Herculean team
Like,
effort.
it's just
yeah.
been, I think it's been so nice. It's been so lovely to see just rally behind the game, and like we were saying earlier, like when it was out, everyone was like just pure joy.
Yeah.
Like,
I cried a little bit, just a little bit.
it was just so nice, man. Like, it was amazing. So just a huge congratulations to you, to the Tren team, to everyone at for the launch of this, and of course, a huge day for Dreams. But we're going to move. We were going to go make a real life Tren Set.
I am,
You?
yeah.
You're going to go over there. You're going to go into the craft corner.
I'm going to hide in the corner
Yeah.
and I'm going to start making a trend track, and John is going to come and help me a bit later.
Yeah, and Jon and Theo are going to join me to come and. Oh, Siobhan said, Siobhan, come in, come in.
Siobhan's been here the whole time,
Siobhan,
Tom. I was
have
thinking
you-
at some point you were going to bring her
I'm
over.
so sorry, Siobhan. Get them.
No, I was supposed to. I didn't want to interrupt you.
That's
I was
okay.
So interested in what
I was thinking Tom's
Can
going
you pop a
to.
mic on?
Say-
Tom is going to bring
Sorry,
Siobhan in any minute.
I hadn't even turned around.
Hi, Siobhan.
Hello. How are you? Are you good?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm fine. I'm happy.
Happy Trend Day.
Happy Trend Day
Happy
to you.
Trend Day. Happy
Like,
Plus Day.
excited.
How's
Very
it?
good.
Thanks, Siobhan.
Yes.
How's it for you having Tren out there, seeing Tren released?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, you know, I think that everybody, like you were just saying, it's been such a team effort the last while. And obviously, Jon kicked this off all on his own. I was looking for videos earlier. I could find one on 14th of February 2020.
Oh,
Auspicious day.
what a day.
What a day. Exactly. That was the first video I could find in the All Videos in One Place folder.
gosh.
And it was like the very early, obviously.
Oh,
But
God.
it's amazing, and I think that's testament to like Jon, because he had the vision, was kind of all in there. So it's been wonderful being able to witness that journey that Jon's been on, and then you know obviously him, I think bringing his team with him, and then the studio with him, and everybody's efforts, and you know I think everybody tries a bit harder when they're super into what they're doing,
Yeah.
and I think Jon really instilled that in everybody. So. You did a bloody good job. So well done.
Well,
So
I'm sure the chat.
it's lovely.
Will
It's
also
lovely,
go.
lovely to watch. And yeah.
Just recently, whenever I've been in proximity of Siobhan, I end up crying.
Well, hopefully good tears. I'm like, oh no.
What was it like?
Yeah, we have had a few nice moments, haven't we? But they've been nice.
Very nice.
I'm like,
very
oh,
nice.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to end up in a big group hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
We
this
did that
camp.
earlier.
We did that earlier.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite things of today has been seeing everybody's nails.
Everyone's
You're
so
walking past,
yeah.
everybody's got blue, like everybody.
Everybody.
Maggie's had Maggie had the pot, and then
You should
everyone's
do.
been
Maggie
going
and Erin,
around. And
Yeah.
like,
That's
I
been
think,
very
I think
sweet.
John's got. Did you go for one hand in the end? You got one hand.
hand.
Amazing.
And
Yeah.
I've even got this. My beautiful wife made me this.
I love it. Oh, it's felt. I
Is
didn't
it?
realise
Yeah,
it
felt,
felt.
yeah.
So nice.
It was a surprise. I got home and I was like, she was like, here you go. And I was like, oh my God.
That's
So
perfect.
lovely.
See, this is
tie.
the thing, it inspires so much, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And like the logo was designed by Martin, who got involved
Yeah.
on Tren early. He went to town, all the sort of icons and stuff. Mike, we got loads of new icons in the game, which is really
Yeah.
cool. He just went to town on the branding.
Yeah,
Everyone has just
rallied.
Rallied,
brought that
yeah.
A game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this scarf, Cat made the scarf. You'll see, obviously, Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Kit
Kat.
Not scarf, it's
That's
a
a
tie.
good name.
Why did
It's
I
a
call it a
tie.
scarf?
Yeah.
A tie.
Oh,
A tie is
it
what I
can-
meant.
anything
yeah.
can be a scarf if you try hard
Well,
enough.
yeah, that's true.
I think. We were talking earlier about like the first time you saw Trent, like,
Yes.
and you were like, you're thinking about your notes and stuff, and you were thinking
Yes.
like, you just said awesome.
I was thinking, if I went back to find my notes, I was like, I wonder what they'd say. And Tom said to me, do you think there'd be something really profound? And I was like, probably just would say awesome. I couldn't find my notes.
No.
I did have a quick look on emails, but we'd probably had started the Slack move at that point.
Yeah, we were.
It's lost in the Slack world.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was the Friday jams, you know,
Yeah.
and I guess it was the Dreams jam, the Dreams launch day
Yeah.
jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you would have been doing some of that in. Maybe it started a bit earlier, but that was the first video I could find.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just this cute toy train, and it's amazing how much of what is on the screen that we see today was already there. The track pieces, are they the same?
The same ones.
They're the same track
Identical
pieces.
track
Yeah,
pieces
they-
since
yeah,
day one.
Yeah. You had a few more coloured trains at one point, and then you seemed
That's
to
right, yeah, and then I
you made a
went on the-
decision.
the teal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you made
yeah.
a decision to go all in
Iconic
on
teal
teal.
now.
Yeah, iconic teal.
Yeah.
There's actually, I built all of Tren up until for the first year when it was just me.
Yeah.
In one level. Every time I added a new bit of track, it was just in this one level. And because this level has like the version history, right, you can go all the way back to the beginning
Oh wow.
Yeah.
and play it. And we should bring it up at some point on like a
Yes.
subsequent stream.
Yeah.
But you can go all the way back to the very first one with the very first controls, and then you can fast forward all the way up to about a year into development, where it looks like Tren, it's the teal and the
Yeah.
iconic Tren. But yeah, it's really fun. You can go back and look
Right,
at all
right,
the
I love
history.
that.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, I remember when we would first show people it. Like obviously Scott is one of your number one
Love Scott.
fans.
Big shout out, Scott.
But yeah, showing people throughout that time, it's just I think, and I remember showing people. You know, occasionally we would have little visitors from other studios or
Yes.
whatever, and I think it's one of those things that's just always really resonated.
Yeah.
We were talking about that when we had people visiting recently. It's just like people look at it and go, "Oh yeah, that connects with me
Yeah.
in a way that is kind of deep and true." It's
Yeah, I think you can tell that even just from the team when we'd show it off, like in the team meetings and stuff,
Yeah.
and like obviously like going like through remote work and everything, like getting everyone together and showing them those videos,
Yeah,
just brought everyone together,
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's been such an amazing journey.
Weirdly, it was a part of it was a pragmatic decision that I was like, well, I'm not much of a wordsmith or story maker, so I was like, what stories can I use? I just use my life, easy, you know. I don't have to think about it much. And then I was like, what location am I going to use? I'm renovating my house. Let's use my house. So that's
Yeah,
why it
so
looks
much
like
is
it's
like
all-
that asset is-
I
it's
used
like-
to be a builder, so it's all like building materials and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just calling on stuff that I knew. And at some point, before it became like an MM thing, I'd built it in a way that I thought I was going to get the community to start building
Yeah.
it with me. It became an MM thing, but the principle of that still remained true. So when everyone came on, it was expandable. But now the community can build with
Yes.
it, which is really exciting.
yes.
So
Oh, and the snap points, my
the snap
word,
points, yeah.
what a game changer.
Yeah, that
All of
was
them.
that was really fun. So we couldn't have much code added for Tren, but we
Yeah.
could get a little bit, you know, and sort of we negotiated what we could get in there. And snap points was one of the key things I really, really wanted.
Yeah.
But I'd learnt the lessons as the Dreams people are out there that we didn't want to use like the auto guides as a gadget. So I went to Bogdan with this impossible request of like, here's a snap point design, and I said how like I kind of wanted it to work, but I said it can't cost anything on the thermo. And he's like, but no, things cost on the thermo, John. I was like, no, this can't though. And he's like, okay.
Crack the knuckles.
And he
That
did
is
it
so
and
Bogdan.
found like a
Yeah.
tiny little bit of memory that was like hiding in the corner.
Yeah.
Used that for the snap points. There's some optimization features specifically for the snap points, but yeah, it doesn't use thermo, so you can have loads. Because I wanted people to be able to build giant, really massive Tren tracks and not worry about snap points costing eating into that. So yeah, shout out to Bogdan for that.
Yes.
And then later Tad helped him out with that as well.
I'm excited to have him show us.
Oh yes,
how
that's
it-
exciting. That's such a good feature.
Yeah. I wanted to just touch on one thing you're saying about having a community, but you've actually had a couple of community members come into MM who have actually played a part in Tren, and that's Alex and Cody. And how's that been, having them working?
Well, Alex, originally we were going to hire specifically for Tren,
Yeah.
but he came on and he helped out with other projects initially.
Yeah.
And I kept sort of looking longingly over at him in the office, like, Alex, please come. But at that point, he was busy on some other really important projects. But Cody came in. I've always been a long-time fan of Cody and his rival corporation, Impreach, that he had at the time.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know what? I think Beech Corp needs to do a bit of a hostile takeover there. And so we got Cody in, and he's just incredible, really. And this is going to sound really narcissistic, but he reminds me of me when I first joined. Like, he has that kind of like just massive enthusiasm, really great at sort of logical mechanics, really great at looking what other things have been established and then replicating that perfectly. He's been making some really amazing stuff, and in fact, he's going to be helping out the You Lovely People for a while, as in the live team. We're going to have like a Beech Corp experimental division. So Cody's going to use his excellent ability to start making some of the stuff that we didn't quite get in time for Tren properly. He's going to be making it himself and then launching it out to the community. Like,
Very
maybe
exciting.
like a cargo plen or something
plen.
like
Oh, exciting.
So yeah, Cody's going to be doing some really awesome stuff. But yeah. And then of course Alex came in and joined near the end, and he just brought his A game. He's really super talented. His mechanics are like on point, sharp, honed, and just a perfect fit for Tren, really, and just did a fantastic job. Anyone who came onto Tren really just brought their own unique awesomeness to it,
How would you describe each designer's type of level design on? Like, because what I loved about playing Tren is you can go, yep, Steve level, Maggie level.
Yeah.
Like, give me the rundown.
Yeah, so Steve was one of the first designers on
Yep.
Tren, and Steve just does bonkers platforming is the best way to describe him. So like just like upside down twists, loop to loops, and it was really fun because for me I just got to make all the like track pieces. So Steve was like, I kind of want to do this thing, and he would kind of not hack it, but I was just like, I can support that. So it's like, right, magnetic track, a roller coaster track. Oh, you want the Tren to do backflips, like all these things, So Steve was really, really fantastic at that. Christoph, he just brings the sort of really devilishly hard stuff. You
sounds
look
like
at
Christoph.
you look at Christoph's stuff and you think, oh, that's going to be quite simple initially, and you start playing it and you're like, this is maddeningly hard, but you desperately want to do it, which is really, really fun. Maggie, who was relatively like she'd never done this kind of level design before, it was really wonderful watching her grow, learn from everyone around, all the other designers, the sort of long-term designers at MM. And her levels have become some of my favourite levels because they embrace my original mentality of Tren a lot, with like the cranes and the sort of puzzles and all that sort of intricate detail that you get in Tren. Erin, who's going to be on the stream later as well, she joined again, relatively like new to this kind of level design, went on this really cool journey, making this level that you'll get to at some point called Ninja Octopus. Ooh. And it's one of my favourite levels. She found this mechanic that she really liked and then just made the whole level around that. So when you get to there, that is Erin's level. Yeah. But it's really wonderful seeing everyone's style. And when you play the levels, you really know whether it's their level or not.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
love that. I really love that.
Oh, good emotions.
I know.
Good emotions. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you both. Thank you, Siobhan.
My pleasure.
Enjoy-
Sorry for
enjoy.
being. I was just
So
loitering.
sorry, I was too enraptured.
I was
with
going to
this
like tap you and
direction.
go, should we
Siobhan
bring
over
Siobhan
there.
over? But
And
I
then-
assumed you had a plan.
No, I had not. And so I was like, yes. Let's go.
It's fine. I was.
Thank you.
Like
a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like a
I've
ninja.
never been described like
Like
that
a
before.
ninja. Okay, well, no. So thank you. Sorry? The first video.
Oh yeah, I put it up on.
Oh,
the,
yes. Oh, do you?
This was the first.
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
This is the
Yeah.
first one that I found.
Wow.
See, look at it.
Wow.
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 They are the same track pieces. They haven't been textured there,
Yeah.
but they're the exact same track pieces.
Yeah.
And this is before I put on like stability
early
systems.
access.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
God.
act- oh my goodness.
And this is where the teal
Yeah.
colour came from, because that roundabout, I was just like, what colour complements like a brownie wood colour?
Yeah.
And it was that teal colour.
So this is the origins
This is the origin
right
of
now.
the Beech Corp teal. Yeah,
Oh, that's
absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because I remember on that first stream you've got that, but you've just got Mark 1.
Yeah,
on it.
which was a tiny bit later than this. But
Wow.
Yeah. They'll get, in fact, there, look, the tracks that are like double wide, they're actual built as solid pieces. And later I was like, wait, if I just have loads of different curves, you can have double pieces,
Yeah.
but you can also have just different radiuses. So like I started thinking really modularly after this. But that's cool to
That's
see that
so
video.
cool.
Yeah, well, there you
Oh,
go.
thank
There you
you,
go.
Siobhan.
Thanks
That's
for finding that,
amazing.
Try and dig something out.
Amazing.
There we go.
Oh, now I'm full of emotion again.
You're going to go and build
Yeah,
a Tren
I'm gonna
Set.
go
You're going to
build
go
a
over
Tren Set,
there.
yeah.
I'm going to shoot off.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Siobhan.
you.
Bye.
I hope you have a fabulous day and really enjoy it.
I'm going to give you
Oh.
Oh, yes, lovely. Please, I hope we'll happy.
They are. Bye, everybody.
All right,
Alright, we'll check in with
bye.
John. We're going to bring in Jon and Theo now. We're going to swap one Jon for another Jon. And a Siobhan for a Theo. And John's going to go over to the craft room. Thank you. Thank you. There's Jon in his craft room. Hello, if you get your microphones on. Theo and Jon.
Hello.
Hello.
It's very fancy.
Isn't it? We're
Quite
in
a
our-
lot fancier than the last time I was on.
Yeah, was it in our
Upstairs.
Yeah, on the sofas.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is both of your first. Theo, is this your very first stream
No, I've done art streams, but always from home.
from home?
This
Yes.
is my first stream sat on the sofa.
this is Theo.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Theo. And yeah, Jon, yes, since
This
since
is only
upstairs.
this is only the third one.
Third one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the first ever stream that we did.
The launch.
No, 2016.
Oh,
the
2016.
first ever one.
Yeah,
So yeah, quality over quantity
of course.
on my part. But yeah, it's lovely to be back. I think the last time was with maybe you for the launch
I
stream.
think the launch with Francis.
Yeah,
and we
that's
just
right,
went through
chatting
some
about
bits and
art,
pieces.
yeah.
So I think we're going to chat about art.
We are.
We're going to chat about some art
Yes.
now in Tren. So
And we're going to
Jon,
show some videos.
We're going to
as
do
well.
some videos, some like bits. That
Do you
sort
want
of
to
like-
lead in
a
first?
lead, yeah, you go.
So
I'll stop talking.
I think it was November 2021. I think, and Jon kind of mentioned it earlier. He'd made such a beautiful thing. I remember speaking to both him and Siobhan and said, "I'd really like to help, but actually, I don't even know if they need any help. It looks such a beautiful game already." But I thought there's something I could maybe bring to that. So actually, I put together a little presentation to Jon, and I pitched 3 ideas, and we're going to have a look at some of the videos of that outcome. In fact, we should probably get the first one rolling.
Start rolling.
Yeah, so I did these visual development videos, trying to explore each of these 3 ideas I had. So the first visual idea was really bigging up the nostalgic vibes, and I thought, what better place to start for Jon and I than Tearaway. So Tearaway Vita, John and I worked really, really closely together on that project. And I just thought that was an element of the nostalgia, is our own kind of company nostalgia. And then there's obviously the nostalgia of our childhoods. And I'm a kid of the 80s, so that kind of vibe. But also, again, studio vibes of craft and paint and all of those bits and pieces. So, and sly nods as well to LBP. There's quite a lot of Art Stream in there.
Of course.
But I did this whole scene, I think, was it 2 weeks, John? I think I went off and...
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, made this whole scene thinking, I'm not sure if it needs it, but I'll take a risk, put it together, and I remember thinking, we've got something here.
Yeah.
And it's actually, like looking at this, bearing in mind this is the first thing I ever did on Tren, it's actually pretty close
It's pretty there.
to already at this point. But that was because the game knew what it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was already set in the attic. You knew what the game was going to be. It was such a beautiful position to be in where you're just being additive to the process. So that was the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second video, if we can cue that one up, this was my second pitch to John, which was the idea of the micro moment. What John had done, you wanted to push your face right in there, and I was just thinking, how can we keep the player engaged and at that level? So I had this idea of these tiny little characters. And again, it's very strange not seeing this video with audio. This is quite a slow-paced video, and I'll share this on social media after. But these little characters, and immediately you begin to kind of connect with them. Like, you don't need to know what this story is between these two. In my mind, there's something going on in their relationship, and they're searching. Or you could just look at it as they're a couple of characters. That's cool, kind of cool. And again, an excuse to kind of impart a bit of my silly sense of humour. So if you see silly words or puns anywhere, that's my jam. You'll see these construction workers pop up everywhere. And actually, in the first world map that you get to with all the retro toys, actually, if you keep dipping into the world map, they actually shift around. There's almost like a little hidden narrative of them maybe building some of the sets themselves.
Yeah.
So kind of getting playful with that, and just what could we get out of these little stories? Could they be happy? Could they be sad? Could they be irreverent? Could they be self-knowing? Almost view that character as like me playing toys as a kid. This is actually a good point to talk about, and something that I'll throw the mic over to Theo a bit later, which is Tren's meant to be evoking that sense of nostalgia, and it's actually really hard to do that without just copying toys. You want to do our own sense of what we remember our toys being without just copying them. So I never looked at photos of things.
Yeah.
I just tried to remember kind of the feeling of what it was and then go and make it. But that's actually a real challenge to get that aesthetic. And then here you go, this is quite meta. So that's a game in a game, made in the game. There's a game. So that was that. But that was it. That was a real hit. That was another, like, those micro moments have ended up getting used everywhere.
Yeah.
Like real moments of levity, moments of sadness. It's just that was another big hit.
Yeah.
There's John.
There's John. Hey man, you're on camera. It's been fun watching you. Like, it's a great challenge. You've been doing these sets in real life as well, and like recreating that kind of look in real life.
Somebody asked me that when we did the event last week, when we showed it off to the press and to the community. Somebody very knowingly said, which came first? Did you start with the physical? And I was like, actually, no, it's the other way around. It's the first time I've thought about that, but it was, even though it was very physical and tactile in my mind, it came actually out of it after as, actually, why don't we build this set? It was a bit like when we would do a tearaway booth show. We papercraft it all, and it's another one of those things that MM tends to do when it's that crossover of the two. But so it's a fun thing that we're going to do again today, is how close can we get to that kind of vibe of toy and track and micro moment.
So there's moments you're saying handing over to Theo in that second viz dev. Was one of those like your brief? One of those visual devs.
Oh, we haven't got to that.
Haven't got
video
to that
yet.
yet.
No,
We've got another video.
We've got 2 more videos.
Spoilers. We've got 2 more videos.
Yeah, so we should, if we queue up the third video,
Yeah.
So this was, I think this was early 2022. And bearing in mind, these scenes were just made for the sake of, let's try and find a vibe. But actually, when Jon and I looked at the scenes, it was like, well, these are almost a scene in themselves. What could we do with them?
Yeah.
And Jon suggested, well, why don't we have like an overworld or a world map? And I thought, how literal could we take that? So obviously, we're flying back over the scene because this is like 6 weeks since I started now, putting these together. And I thought, well, maybe we could go all in with the micro moments and have the world map quite literally like a world map, which is it's a village or a town or etc. etc. And you can see it under construction. So maybe areas that you've yet to unlock are being built. Again, an excuse for writing silly things. And also, this is something we'll keep coming back to, putting a bit of ourselves in there. So the White Hart was my student pub. Spent a lot of time in the White Hart. But yeah, there's quite a few small moments that I kind of keep to myself almost, that most people will relate to. They'll just see it as a little moment, but actually it's probably something quite meaningful to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, this was more of a, could we make a world map? Like, would this be too much for the player to drive around? Would it get in the way? But again, just being really playful with the humour of things. And this is almost foreshadowing. A little bit later in the game, this was a big hit, that little scene.
Yeah,
and that got expanded quite a bit, similar to this part as well. So again, it was almost the genesis of these small ideas that ended up moving into further and getting expanded as we actually turned it into legit world maps.
What's it like when you do like these visual devs and they basically resemble the final,
I don't think the only
product?
time that this has happened, like, it's almost a bit weird actually. I look at this and it's almost one-to-one with how we ended. That's very unusual.
Yeah.
Like so when I put together the 3 initial ideas for Jon, it was nostalgia and toy vibes, micro moments, and then the third one was resolve backgrounds as map paintings, and that never happened.
Right.
Because I'd done that video at that point. I was like, it doesn't need anything else.
Yeah.
So that didn't get done, but that's really unusual.
Yeah.
I think Tearaway was a bit like that, but then I wasn't there in early Tearaway days, so you probably get a different take on that. So yeah, that's a first for me.
Yeah. I was just like looking through those, and I remember now seeing when you'd show them to the team, and I'd just be like, oh yeah, it's just like for like. It's like, and then it just does work. It's the sense of place you have when you're rolling around that world map. It's just, it invokes such an amazing feeling. Yeah. And it's those feelings that you're talking about.
Yeah, and in fact, we should queue up the next video only because it's probably a good segue to talk about, as I've been involved in making the world maps, or at least 2 of them. But actually, this is why I kind of do want to throw it over to Theo. We still had all of these challenge levels to art pass. So this was my video, and Theo was saying it was almost a pitch to him. And again, this looks really similar to how it ended up being. But this was just one way we could treat a level. I've actually edited out a couple of the bits that we didn't do because I didn't want it to be spoilers for later in the game, which we still used. But this was very much let's take those props and art pass it, and that ended up giving that to Theo. And then the second one was this concept of the special. I believe we actually, I can't remember how many levels we had at the time. It was certainly around the number we've ended up shipping with. And this actually I close my eyes and I can make Tearaway.
Yeah.
Like, I know that world so well. So I think I did this whole scene, this whole level from scratch in a couple of days. But I was just thinking, if we have to do 95 levels to that quality, we won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So this was very much, we can do the occasional special one. What can Theo do? So now it's a good time to probably throw the mic over to Theo.
Hey Theo.
Hey Tom.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I think that was at the point that I came onto the project. They had obviously this idea that they wanted the levels art passed, and Jon had done the demos there of what it could look like, and then we needed to go away and make them all. So that was kind of Jon and Jon's pitch to me was, which one do we like out of these and which one will work? Because I think at that point, I think you were right, we had, I think it was about 95 levels, think I ended up doing 91 or 92 of them. I think there was,
which is incredible.
just a small fraction. There was a couple. We had some like special guests to do a couple of the special levels.
I'd done the tearaway one. That was the only one I didn't.
Yeah, and then we had one from Christoph. Later on, we had one from Matt Bagas. We had one from Cody. But yeah, we had to figure out a way of making it always feel like you've gone from these world maps into still a very believable but abstract place of play.
Yeah.
And also work out how we can keep it original for 95 levels and not just reuse the same props over and over again or the same micro moments over and over again. So I think it started off with, we did the first world map, which has 3 clusters in it. And we had kind of a kickoff point, John, which you had, in a way, themed areas of the world map.
That's right, yeah.
So we had the first bit, which was kind of a bit of everything. We had the second one, which was like retro
Vintage
games,
things.
old consoles and lots of tech, floppy disks and stuff like that. And then the third one, which was board games. So we had some non-IP infringing pieces, some safe pieces, boxes, and dice and stuff like that. So I had a kick-off point where I made a few pitch levels for the Johns, and we kind of drove through them, and we went, okay, what works, what's not working, and I think we hit it quite quickly.
Yeah. It was more how deep we wanted to go with the storytelling. I think that was again, balancing against time. Like, we could tell very meaningful, deep stories, but to do those well, it's just more, you just have to do that properly. It takes more time. But certainly, those initial ideas, I think nearly all of them made it.
The majority of them did. So we had the 3 clusters. I pitched 3 story ideas for each cluster, and they were all, I tried to, as you said earlier, the challenge was finding the tone of the stories we wanted to tell. It's like, you could do these kind of silly moments and cover every single level with them, but at what point does it lose its impact?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then some that we wanted to relate personal stories. So I think eventually the point that it got to is that you'll see in some of the clusters there are longer overarching stories. They're often quite subtle, so you do need to read into them a little bit. But we tried to keep it varied and not too happy all the time, not too silly all the time, and have points of a bit more contemplation. And it all made it in the end.
I think, if anything, some of the stories were combined, I want to say, as well. I think that we did that early on. And then you were almost following me. So I worked on that vintage world map, and then I went on to we're not going to spoil what happens in world map 2. I have to say, that's probably a high point of all my time on Dreams. If I'm happy with one thing, I loved working on that world map. You'll know when you get there, it's got 2 levels to it. And you were saying to me, what are the themes going to be, John? And I'm like, I'll let you know. And I'll figure out what I'm going to put in this world map. But it was definitely I know it's going to be the village, the town and village theme.
Yeah.
And almost like suburbia.
Yeah.
And things happening there. But you certainly did a very good job of following along behind.
Yeah.
And then we went on to the third world map. And that was a different experience, because my involvement there was, and again, I don't want to spoil it, but there was something I suggested that's a bit of us in there. And then that was more of a collaboration between the other John and Theo for the final world map.
Cheeky smile from John Beech over
exactly. Yeah, but that's very touching. Yeah, that was a very touching thing for us, and also, as you'll find out, people that have been involved heavily in the community.
Yeah.
We should also, I don't know if we're going to play some more to show some of Theo's themes.
Yeah, if we bring our
we
small
were
camera
going to
down.
show. There was 2 more videos.
Yeah, I was going to say.
When do you want to play them?
I was going to say maybe we can play when we're wrapping up with your, because they're obviously they're quite special.
Oh, okay.
They're quite nice. But yeah, I just want to say it's amazing. Some of the levels only have a small bit, and then this one's a bit more of a populated piece. What's the thinking
that was the other challenge that we had, is that Tren kind of, as a game that you play, has two schools, I guess. One which is the holding boost all the time, doing outrageous flips and these ridiculously constructed levels, and the other one is thoughtful puzzles that you have to drive very slowly.
Yeah.
And slowly around corners, and it's how can we have the art complement that? So we don't want to put tiny moments of like real kind of detail and focus in levels that you're just like blasting past, because it's that's not that's not complementing the level itself. So levels like this that are slower will put people and will put moments that maybe you can stop and read into or think about a little bit. So it's a combination of that, and the main thing, which is selling the theme wherever you are in a level, if that makes sense. So with each, as you've touched on, with each cluster we focus on a different theme, and these themes are meant to evoke nostalgia and a real feeling of craft. Tren is a very, very crafted and kind of meticulously created thing. It's very tactile, it's very physical, and I wanted to kind of take that with the props as well. So each of the themes that you'll see are all hobbies, interests or focuses that can be either at a very surface level, something you can easily get into, but also something you can really spend a lot of time mastering. So for example, we've got like a music theme later on, which could be, I don't know, you did piano lessons when you were 10, or it's, I don't know, you make your own instruments out of wood and you do the kind of craftsmanship yourself. And so it's selling those themes from the start. So for example, at the start of that level, just from the start, you've got some dice, you've got some board game pieces, you know exactly where you are and how to feel. And that was the aim to hit with every single one of them. So the minimal level was to get that, and then the bigger levels I can fill with more story moments or silly things or more complex props. But that was the thinking.
Yeah, it was nearly always, that was whenever we reviewed the levels, it was how are we starting this, how are we ending it?
Right.
Is there any opportunity where you go around a loop and you have to uncouple from something so that you'll spend that a couple of seconds, so you'll actually get to appreciate this moment, but also knowing that players might zip by. But then, we've also got the photo mode. Shout out to the photo mode.
Shout out to the
so
photo
you can
mode.
Really, if you want to go in and just marvel in the glory of the micro moments, you totally can. And play about with also the post-processing on the grading. So you can really, and you can leave it in there mode and play the game in that mode.
In that look.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, that was nearly always in our reviews. We were talking about how do we finish, how do we end. It was almost like three acts to it.
Where are there moments of pause?
Oh, look at this!
There you go. Look at this photo
This is
mode.
by
There we go.
magic.
Photo mode.
Warm meat.
And quite good
My
pants.
favourite.
Quite good.
I think it was like when we had some the media come and play the game. It was like we were really watching to see if they went into photo mode, and when someone did, we were like yes. Like, I think we were all surrounded one person because they were checking the photo mode out. It's such an amazing feature of the game.
The other thing when we're here that I always like doing with games is building up rules and then sometimes breaking them. I always feel like that always creates little moments of magic. So we establish everything here is very, very physical, yet the clouds for the tearaway area, they're just floating and they're animating and they're moving. And I kind of like doing that here and there. And that's why there's actually around the corner there's a little book of magical realism. So I'm kind of calling that out. But again, you might notice that here and there in Tren. And that's always very intentional. But there's always some beauty from having rules and then breaking them now and then. But I do think they've nearly always got bugged as well. Like, somebody has noticed.
These clouds are floating.
Like we know.
Before we move on to your last couple of videos, there was a point you were speaking about, Jon, over the last couple of weeks about how the combined skills of all the people behind Tren equals a crazy amount of years.
Oh yes.
But the quote I really like that you used is not the what, it's the how you were going to make things in Tren, and I think that was just I really love that quote.
No, the other way round.
The how?
Not
the
how.
That was it. Sorry. Yes.
Not how you're gonna make it. What you're gonna make.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. Yeah, between just John, Tom, and I worked out there was 32 years of experience
Amazing.
using Dreams, let alone the rest of the team combined. Some very large number.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to the point where we're talking about micro moments with a heavy depth of field and a fully realistic, where the camera's pushed so close in, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about that because I know
Yeah.
the tool so well. I
Yeah.
know we can pull it off. That's a very lovely place to be in. It's
Yeah.
like that level of mastery is very unusual unless you have many years in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, it would be, and the same for the gameplay, same for the audio, same for.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about what do we want to do? How do we want to make the player feel? Yeah, that is a very special and lovely thing to be talking about, and not, oh my goodness, how are we going to do that?
Yeah. I think, and it goes back to everyone bringing their A game to
Absolutely.
Tren, just and like just hearing you folks speak about it,
Yeah,
it's just like
and
so
that came
amazing.
that came from John big time, which was, embracing every time, celebrating what is special that you can bring. What is it about your childhood that connected you? What does that remind you of when you're playing the game, and how can you put a piece of you in that game? But that came heavily from John, so it made it. It was even less of the A game. It was more of a natural. You just wanted to because it's a piece of you.
Yeah.
And it's the classic, write about what you know if you're going to write. So yeah.
Amazing. So these last few videos.
Yeah,
do you want
last
to?
two
do you
videos.
want to intro them? Or do you want to talk about
I will
afterwards,
intro them. So there are two games that we'll see in the world maps, and I did like a little mini jam. And I'd always wanted to make a 90s point-and-click adventure. And I kind of grew up on old Spectrum games, so I also did like an old 80s game. And I just spent a day on each.
Yeah.
And then the music was done by Lisa for one of them, and for Bogdan for the other, all in Dreams. And I just thought maybe there's some language we can use from that. In a dream situation, maybe you'd play them in the game, but we never got to that stage. So I put together these two videos, which we'll listen to with the audio, so I won't talk over them. But we do see boxes of them, and we see them on like the monitors. So it's a bit of lore and a bit of flavour for the game. But they were lots of fun to make, and it just shows what you can do in Dreams.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's roll
Let's play them.
Robinson Clues. Oh, it doesn't. I will go with this one. So that was Tren Island. And the way I like to work is come up with a pun.
And then what?
That makes me laugh. I was like, Tren Island. Oh, that'd be a cool game. And then I came up with the tagline. I'm like, I'm going to spend a day making a game based around that. Which I want to say that's how some games were made at Double Fine as well. I know that like Brutal Legend, I believe, was also made in a similar way. Or certainly some of the gameplay. So that was the first one, which we'll see throughout the game. And then the other one, let's cue that one up. This was the 90s. Yeah, so but I have to say, neither of them are playable. That's all 100% cheating. They are essentially two very elaborate cutscenes that I animated all the bits and faked it all to the camera to make it feel like a fantasy.
Yeah.
So they're certainly not playable in any stretch of the imagination. But
get a community to make them play.
Community, you go make Skeleton Island.
If you thought it was playable, I think I won. I succeeded. If you think that. So they were just. It was more of a. It's a fantasy within a fantasy.
Yeah.
That was lovely to make some Tren lore, and I would love to make another 10 games like that.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
And I think you're going to share those on social, so
I will
people
put them
will
on
be able to
social
check them
media.
out throughout the week.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Is
Tom.
there anything else
I don't know. Is there anything else you want to ask? Well, you got to see it. Otherwise, I'm going to
You're
go
gonna go
and art pass a
Art Pass a
Art
real
Pass a
life
level.
set.
This is how we work.
This is how.
I build the track, John comes and up passes it. Perfect. It's like real life synergy.
Coming to life over there. Though. We've got Tren bits.
Yep,
Little
there's big gaps, so
Yeah.
there's room for art, in there, which is obviously important. Got some trends. Might have a little trend driving around later, maybe.
Yes. Looking forward to it. All right, well, thank you, Jon.
Well,
Theo.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was going to say the only last thing to say is
Yes.
that a lot of the art is in the kit.
Yes.
It's not just the track. We've included a few hand-picked bits and bobs for you to use. So go nuts.
Yeah.
And add your own stuff.
And last thing, a little bit of advice, I would say it's all in the lighting.
Yeah.
And less is more. So top-down lights, if you want to try and replicate that vibe, the grade gadget, which I believe we give you in the main setup, it's all there. And then just very simple spotlights placed down with shadow casting. Yeah, just keep it simple.
Theo and I were talking about. I think I said your
Yes.
name probably Theo then. Theo, I'll say it again. Theo and I were talking about having a stream in the next couple of weeks where someone creates a level and then Theo will come in and
very
do like
good.
a lighting showcase on
I'd
it.
love to do that. I think it would be nice to, and also maybe create a couple of really, really quick props to show that you can make stuff relatively quickly, and stylized realism. It doesn't need to be on the dot reel. It just has a few bits that need to sell it.
We have to show that off as well, because some of the props that you've made, like the pine cone and the cookies, are like, there's so many things. I'm like, wow, this is very impressive.
Yeah.
So even like showcasing that work, Theo did such a great job. I mean, 92 levels. That's
a lot.
That's a round of applause.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. Too kind. It was only possible due to good direction. So I'm just going to pass it back to John.
Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Next, we're going to be hearing I feel proper TV. Next on the Tren Launch stream, we'll be hearing from the audio team. But we'll pop over to Craft Corner while we get everyone changed around, and we're back in a bit. Thank you.
Hello.
It's Tom Colvin.
Oh God, I can see
Tom
my
Colvin,
own
Ollie
face.
Grant is there. Lisa Devon's going to be joining us any minute now.
Hello, everyone.
How are you both?
Really good. My brain's turned to cheese because I went to a festival.
Was it a cheese festival?
Yeah, it wasn't a cheese festival, but no, it was a music festival.
Yeah.
It
Did
was
you have a
really
good time?
nice. I had a lovely time. Thank you,
Excellent.
Tom. Sorry, off topic.
That's fine.
Okay.
And you come back and we've launched Tren.
I know, it's the best day of my life.
Oh.
I mean that
Brilliant.
wholeheartedly.
So we're gonna have a bit of a chat about the audio and the sounds of Tren.
Yes.
But I thought we could start this by saying the soundtrack is releasing.
The soundtrack is releasing.
When is the soundtrack
That's
releasing,
right.
Tom?
The soundtrack is releasing on August the 4th.
Friday.
And, on Friday, yes, and you will be able to listen to all of the music of Tren in your own homes or devices on whatever streaming system you prefer.
Nice.
And there's a single out already, composed by the wonderful Ed Hargrave.
Shout out to Ed Hargrave.
Shout out to Ed. It is a banger.
Confirmed banger.
Yeah,
There's
even
Lisa.
if I say so myself.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
You good? You good?
I think so.
Yeah, you good?
There's no one on the desk.
No one's on the desk.
So audio's running itself right
Everyone's
now.
out
Oh,
there.
it's green. I didn't
Oh,
think
green.
about it.
There she goes.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow, that's fantastic. You're see-through now. That's
My body is actually transparent.
That
so.
is, and the pattern transparent. Nice. Nice. And the pattern works as well.
puns. Ding.
So,
Yes.
sounds in Tren.
There are many.
There are many sounds.
There's a few.
There's a few sounds.
More than one.
More than maybe two.
I don't know.
Even pushing it. There's two.
Yep.
There's two.
Just the wheels and such.
Yeah. I didn't count.
You didn't count
But
the
there's a lot.
Well,
There's a lot. I mean, the first thing I would like to say was that it's just been a total joy to make this game. It's been a complete and absolute pleasure
Yeah.
because it was made with such love and attention to detail, and just working with Jon and all the other people who aren't called John.
only a
Was,
few of them.
yeah, and the Toms.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
Toms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really just it's been a total pleasure. And some games are hard work, and this wasn't hard work. It was all good all of the time, and what shall I start?
so I was going to say, do you want
yeah,
we got
because
this
I
in
can't
this.
remember anything.
So I was basically going to say,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
that's
wanted
right.
to sort of say, like, what was that those first steps into Tren, like discovering?
It's sort of just it was like a sort of a moment of nostalgia. So feeling like, okay, I feel like I did when I first saw a train set. And I remember that moment. I remember being 5 years old and there's something under a blanket in the corner of the room, and
Yeah.
like, I didn't even know that trains existed before then. And it's like, wow. After that, dedicated train nerd from then on. And that was a really important thing, was to think about how to make that experience of playing with a toy feel real,
Yeah.
and how to make it feel kind of legitimate. And the way you do that is you use the actual things of that scale. Like,
Yes.
you remember what it's like to play with toys. You've spent years and years of your life probably playing around with these tiny sort of plastic and wooden items, so you know exactly how they sound already.
Yeah.
So you really have to just focus in on those tiny little details. And John's kind of real enthusiasm, he's over there grinning.
Smiling away.
His sort of enthusiasm for product design and the sort of, I mean, that's one thing I absolutely love about Tren, is that it's sort of like, it's truthful all the way down.
Yeah.
It's not just, there's no cheating. If you go inside and pull it apart, you'll see that like every bit is engineered to work like a train should,
Yeah.
like a Tren should. And so, yeah, like some of the things we did was have a 3D printed Tren. Jon gave me a bunch of Trens, which I then smashed. Because
Like many people will be doing in the game, but
that's
in
that's
real
right.
life.
Yeah, in real life, it was more heartrending in real life.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's fine. They're going to be like, oh, this is a beautiful thing, and I'm now going to drop it on the floor really hard
Yeah.
against different
And
surfaces.
there's a video of
That's a factoid I didn't know, by the
yeah,
way.
just,
yeah.
there's a great video of you
Murder
just
trends.
dropping a Tren and it just
Yes.
like breaking apart. And it's just so sad.
But probably a little satisfying.
Very
At the same
satisfying,
time.
especially
It
the
is.
sound.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just looking over all these bags of props, and I think a lot of these things were like literally recorded. I mean, I know I recorded a bunch of the,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to have like a mini like Foley session with this mic
We
here.
need tiny microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that now.
Oh yeah, we got some here.
Come
Let's
on.
go put those
Yeah,
in.
yeah, exactly. Come on. Yeah, go on. That's it. Live Foley on the
Yeah,
air.
live.
Or maybe you should just do that for Jon whilst he's making. It's
I'll just
like
do
every
it while
time he
you're
does
talking, just
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
do
it-
it while
Yeah.
I'm talking. That really helps.
You know, this kind
Strangest
of.
ASMR. Is that one on? Try it into your
Oh.
headset mic.
Is this
Yeah.
one? Oh.
Into mode.
But that is the thing.
Tren.
It's like,
We did it.
So much of this happening in our studios.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and then, oh, this is a very hard sound to capture. The like
Yeah, the
combining
connection.
of it.
Oh, it's so
You know?
subtle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally. And yeah, the other thing that it allowed me to do was to start a collection of whistles.
You've been waiting for this moment.
I've been hearing these whistles a lot.
Tom has done a couple of presentations.
We all knew this moment was
For
coming.
Tren. And he
Oh,
he
wow.
lives
There's a tin.
Oh, look! And also we've got this as well.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
We'll
I've
hold
jumped the gun.
box for
We-
now.
Yeah,
It's-
the
we're not
whistles
opening it
have
yet.
to come
Yeah.
Hold
last.
that.
Yeah.
Save your
So what are we
excitement for
seeing
later.
here?
The first, the starting point.
We're all safe, everyone is fine.
Careful, everyone.
We had to sign a waiver before.
We decided. We decided for the stream that we were
Don't
going
put
to
it
do
in your face.
live trepanning on air. I mean, that is actually a trend pun, really. If you put trend punning together,
Trepanning.
trepanning. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to do that, honest. But yeah, John, having been a builder in a previous life, has a fabulous collection of power tools and literally all the different noises. I could just hold this now.
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
was
is
thinking
that
of
the
doing
sound
that,
of
but
Tren?
probably shouldn't. Right?
Yeah,
It's
don't
one
put
of
that next to your face.
I think
one
this
of the
one is
sounds
on.
of
Is that
Tren.
on? We'll find out.
Which one? Is it?
I want to do the thing. So one of the details that really made John happy was, you know how like if you give an electric motor not quite enough power for it to turn, and you hear a sort of little clicky sound and a kind of whining noise before it actually starts. This was a brushed motor, obviously not with brushless, and we realised that we weren't quite it wasn't quite feeling right with the sort of trigger of Tren, pulling the right trigger, and so we added that little bit. So if you just depress the trigger a tiny bit. When you get a chance to play Tren, just depress your right trigger a tiny bit and you'll hear it going, and then there'll be a click and it'll start moving. So, it was just nerding out about all those kind of little details. And yeah, every single item in my house has been recorded. My old coffee machine, my old coffee grinder, they've all been smashed, dropped on the floor, filled with water, had bubbles blown through them.
Right.
But yeah, we spent a whole day recording John's entire Makita. Well,
How'd you
other
record-
brands are available of power tools.
How did you
It's
record
very
those
satisfying.
falling pillars, wooden pillars?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I think that was an Ed job.
Oh, okay.
I actually
Yeah.
didn't make that one, so I'm not
No,
sure.
Just so many little
But,
satisfying
yeah.
It's so
sounds.
tactile.
Yeah, exactly. But over and over again, the lesson was the same. It's like if you have something that's the wrong size, or the wrong shape, or the wrong weight, or the wrong material,
It's not gonna work.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You just have to be super literal. And so all the sounds, like at one point. Okay, the whistles are coming out now.
Okay. I just,
hold on,
while
let me
you're getting
breathe.
this out, I think
Okay.
the idea of someone tuning into the stream and just seeing Tom brandishing this
What's
power tool
What's this?
and us
What's
being
in
like,
here?
this is a video game.
Also, volume check.
Yeah.
You want to turn your headphones down.
Yeah,
a little
this
bit.
might be a little
There's a
bit
lot in
too
there.
loud. So here's the thing that didn't
Oh, wow.
make it into the game.
What is this?
This is a Swanee whistle, and Tren can spin and loop the loop.
Of course.
And so I was playing around with okay, what does it go when it goes round? And,
So if it stayed upside down, it would just be.
yeah.
Sounds like a certain song. Yeah.
Oh, God.
We all know the song.
So anyway, but that was too
Let's,
kind of.
let me just check. Did the chat, you heard the whistle? We need to make sure that they're getting the
Oh, okay, okay.
we need to make sure. I think they did, because we've got some oohs in the chat.
Okay, good.
Good.
Impressive.
It is really expressive. It's a very good thing.
Your
But
box of whistles.
it was too kind of. It wasn't quite. It wasn't quite physical enough. It didn't
Yeah.
actually work. This is we're doing sound design now instead of doing Foley and stuff. So we decided not to do that. But stuff that did make it in. I mean, this is a ridiculous collection. I just started buying whistles when Tren started. I haven't stopped really because there's so many. So this one is this is
This is the one.
Oh yeah.
that's what Tren's
Classic.
apologies.
Yeah, they definitely heard that. They heard that.
Through the
Yeah,
headphones.
I'll
Loud
give
and
you,
clear.
sorry, I'll give you a warning next time because it's probably quite loud.
Is this your favourite?
I mean, it's hard to have favourites.
Hard to have
Tom.
favourites.
It's hard to have
Hard to have
favourites because there's so
favourites.
many.
They're all my
Then this one is.
This is just such an interesting box.
Yes.
I've never seen I think it's better we keep the mystery. They don't
Yeah,
need
let's
to
keep
see
the
what's
mystery.
there. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly,
there's so
yeah.
much going on.
And the collection has really grown.
Yeah.
It really has.
Yeah, I remember it being
Years.
a couple.
Yep. I remember it was just a couple of whistles and
There are so many good whistles available on the internet.
yes.
I think,
Once you start, it's a bit of a habit.
Whistle addiction.
like a bit
100%
of
in
like,
whistles.
insight trivia is that you have at the end of any trend presentation during a meeting, you'd blow the whistle.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
but it
you?
wouldn't always be the same one.
It would never be. No.
Sometimes it'll be a surprising one. Hang on, look, would you have a mysterious one? A noise coming. Everyone, watch out. Which is just like so a duck. Or it could be.
Oh,
This
that's
is a
a
pigeon.
nice one.
Well, actually, it says a dove and pigeon call.
No.
Not hugely convinced. Continuing on this. This
You're a
is a
connoisseur
goose.
now.
Anyway, this is getting out of hand.
Imagine
There's a lot of things. Yeah, exactly.
It's not true to form.
So that was audio in Tren, everybody.
Yeah, just whistles basically.
90%
Just
of
whistles
them.
and that's it. There's nothing else really to talk about.
Whistles and
That's
power
it, that's
drills.
it. We're done. Yeah, whistles and power drills, and broken toys smashed on the floor. Yeah. So yeah, lots of childhood dreams broken at that time. So anyway, let's talk about music because obviously this is.
The music was also composed
ridiculous.
entirely from recordings of whistles.
Yes,
Yeah,
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 all the
yeah.
Tren
There's
Wreck
actually
is
a whistle of the theme tune if you press it hard.
Yeah.
Don't listen to them. such like no. So I think like one thing that Jon made clear from the beginning was that bringing your own sort of sense of personal expression to the project was really important. That was a real kind of big way in, and I play the guitar. That's my first instrument, and I've never used my guitar playing in a game before because it's never really suited the project, but
Yeah.
also just because I don't know, it's never seemed like the right thing to do. But this it felt like, yeah, I'm just gonna do my my own personal
Some noodles.
thing. Yeah, some noodles. And we started off with Todd. Actually, I'm going to give Todd Baker a shout out because he did a fantastic job. Well
He
done, Todd.
posted a video this morning on
Oh,
Twitter
Yeah.
of him
Check
playing.
Check out. You'll hear one of the first pieces of music for Tren, which turned into the Tren theme music. And if you look at the Todd Baker on Twitter, you'll find it there. And then that theme music made its way into
It's
all
all
kinds of
throughout,
little
isn't
things,
it?
and it's a little hook. It
Yeah,
makes
it's-
its way into your head.
It's huge.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's
It's
an
a
earworm.
huge
Yeah, exactly. It's an earworm, so you'll hear it everywhere. Yeah, and what else can I say about that? Yeah, so in the trailer you'll hear it sort of morphing into a sort of like a punky kind of thing.
Personal fave.
Yeah,
Me and Jen championed that track.
Yeah.
Through and through. We kept getting the name wrong.
What? What did you call
Tren
it?
crashed.
Tren
No, it's
crash.
Tren Wreck. Tren Wreck.
Tren wreck.
Oh,
Tren
there's some
Wreck,
good
yeah.
names in
Yeah.
there.
They
Yeah.
did change quite a lot, so it's possible it was originally called that.
All the soundtrack, yeah, the names are.
But it should be.
Bring out the
Yeah.
big guns. Yeah, that's one for
It's
Steve.
worth saying that not only do you and Todd play guitar, you guys play guitar like extraordinarily
Oh,
well,
yeah.
like way above
It's-
average. So it's like very.
It's
It was
unreal.
very delightful to see that like in a video game,
Yeah.
Because most of the time it would just be like knocking on the door, and then you guys would be in there like doing incredible like flamenco scales and stuff. And now we can actually immortalize that in a game, which is
Yeah.
very special.
Yeah, it was really. I had a lovely time writing that music, and it was just really nice to sort of explore different like facets of kinds of music that I've learnt about. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Senegal in West Africa, and there's a little bit of musical influence from that in one of the tracks. And then everyone else brought in bits of influence like that. Like Ed is not a guitar player by trade, and so we started off, me and Todd, with guitars, and then Ed came in and brought his violin game and playing pizzicato violins in there, which was really, really lovely. And just really kind of gelled with the whole sound of it and had a great time.
And then Ollie and Lisa, you each wrote
Yep.
a
Yeah,
track.
we contributed.
right.
What was it like writing Tren music for you?
Yeah, it's, well, you can go first.
Oh, it was just the best because they were like, here's the level. And the artist that I was working with was Matt. And I was like, Matt, what do you think? Matt was like, do whatever you want. And I was like, really? He's like, yep, I trust you. And then I just did whatever I wanted. So that was pretty cool. You had some more like kind of genre constraints, I think, but.
Yeah, a little bit. It was like basically make it more to do with a helicopter, and like I like making synthy music quite a lot. So it's just drew on my sort of synth wavy vaporwave stuff like that. Just ran with it. But there wasn't really much constraints other than there was a bunch of synths and stuff in the level. So.
Sort of 80s.
Yeah. And then a few tracks were made already at that point, so
Yeah.
we had a nice little thing to bounce off and add our own flavour too.
Yeah, exactly. But the two things that you did, and also Bogdan wrote a track as well. We've got to call out.
Oh,
Bogdan
yeah.
for his
Yes,
Oh, that's so
Bogdan's
good.
track
It's
is
just
incredible.
fantastic. It's a very sort of like Sound Blaster 16
Yeah.
instrument
And
sound.
he wrote it in like 4 hours
Yeah.
or something ridiculous. Like he wrote it so he was like,
Because
by
of
the way,
course he
I've
did.
started this track, and then 4 hours later he's like, I've finished
I'm
the
done.
track. It's like,
And he walked out of the room. He's like, I'm done.
That is the most musically dense piece of. Well, actually, it's probably bring out the big guns, but
Yeah,
it's one
bring
of
out
the
the big
most
ones, for sure.
musically dense. There's so many chord changes and tempo changes and everything. I mean, Bogdan.
It's very
just
Bogdan, yeah.
I
ridiculously
love
good,
that.
Fantastic.
so
It brings itself back
nice
home.
work.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Towards the
it's
end.
fantastic. Yeah.
And I was just before we wrap up, I was just thinking like it's lovely the fact that you sort of got to explore your guitar playing because that is still in theme of like Tren and like
Yes.
going back to your own personality and like getting your own touch on things. So it's really nice that it makes sense that that's your experience with Tren in the same
Yeah.
way that like Jon's experiences with the train sets themselves. So it must have been so nice to just be able to be you.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like being able to be me.
I like you being able to be you too.
It's quite challenging when there are so many people called Tom.
Yeah, what are we at? I think we're at 6 Toms. We've got 2 in the room at the moment.
Yeah.
There's a Tom Mance. We've got 3 in the
Three.
room.
We got 3.
Our max.
Oh, yeah,
was
yeah.
There is a high score
I
of
was
Toms
forgetting
out
me.
there.
What was a high score of Tom's?
There was 7 of us. No, 9 of us.
No,
at
I think
one
it was
point.
9, yeah.
9 of us at one point. I was not counting myself then. I was just like, there's 2 Toms.
You're a Tom. You're
I'm a Tom,
You're
thank you.
also a Tom.
I believe in you.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Anyway, thank you very much. The sound, the music, it just transports you. It's that final like piece of the puzzle, isn't it? And I've had Tiny Tales on repeat, and I will be having the
it's so good.
soundtrack on repeat from Friday, 4th of August.
August the
as Tom
4th.
mentioned, on all streaming
That's
services.
Just keep
Should
hitting
we-
play over and over again.
Yes. Should
absolutely.
we play a little bit of the original theme that we have as background music when we?
Oh, well, as we change.
Yeah.
Shall we
Yes.
put that on? Yeah.
If,
as
Yeah.
we,
if that is
It is
in
readily
our
available,
ability.
yes.
Let's get
I'll
down
do
to
it
it.
now.
We'll pop
Hit
back
that.
to the craft corner. Thank you, Tom, Ollie, and Lisa. I'm going to check the schedule on what we got next because I've forgotten. Bear with me, everybody. Here we are. I think we're talking level design now. Are we talking level design? We're talking level design.
Good.
What up? Oh, look, we look like we're having a well big party.
Yeah.
It's great. It's super chill.
Yes.
Happy Tren Day, you three.
Happy Tren Day.
Happy Tren Day.
Yeah,
Happy Tren Day.
happy Tren Day.
Happy Tren Day. Happy Tren Day to all that celebrate. We're here with the lovely cat, Erin and Maggie.
Hello.
Maggie's now playing the game. If we go, we need to give Maggie the good view. There we
Yeah.
go.
You don't have to play. Go to the menu and pick a level you'd rather. Pick one. Nothing
wrong with that level.
I know. Pick one of your levels.
Oh, no, that's too much. Play on stream my level.
Is it?
But you'd be the best
I
at
think you
it.
should.
No, I'll pick something that I'll see. Just
Okay.
continue the chat. I'll find one.
So I thought we could use this section to talk about designing levels in Tren. And obviously we're going to look at the set in a bit as well with you and John. But you've all had experience with designing with either just with the Tren set itself or level, and you've actually created levels in the game. So I thought it'd be great to give some people some tips on what it's been like creating levels, how you came to the. We spoke about your octopus level, Ninja Octopus earlier.
Yes.
John teased it. So let's start with like, what's it been like, Erin, for you designing? What was it like designing levels in Tren?
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was like one of the most fun times I've ever had designing on a video game.
Yeah.
It's my second time. So yeah, it was a joy to like join this team and work. I think with the time we had, I made Ninja Octopus as like my inner level in the game. Maggie made so many that were fun. But I can say with Ninja, I had like quite a time limit because I joined around Christmas.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted to wrap it up within the first couple of months of this year. So how I'd also recommend to the community making your own levels is like play Tren. If something pops out like a gameplay motif and you're like, wow, like I really love this. How does this work? Could I come up with my own idea for my own level and explore that? That's what I did for Ninja. I like really loved the flips, and I was like, what can I do here that's innovative and new with flipping? And yeah, it's a little teaser for what you have to do in Ninja Octopus. Lots of flips, so it
Lots
was
of
wonderful.
flips.
Yeah.
Was that one of the harder levels we had on show? Did we have that on show?
No,
No, it's
no.
kept that secret from everyone.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Well, you'd be excited.
I mean, they can play it now.
Of course, but it'd be exciting to see people discover it.
Yes.
I don't
like,
think we've seen
yeah.
anyone get to it yet on social
No,
launch
I don't
because
think
it's
so.
later on in the game,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I'm not doing it.
But yeah, well, so like you said, it's like second time designing it. Like, what's just that journey been like? Like coming into something like this.
It's been great. Like the team and the project is amazing, and I think what I was doing previously was so different. So this was like really fun to explore making a game like this. Oh, let's go!
Oh,
Incredible, incredible hoop jump. And yeah, like the team are lovely. Like it was a wonderful experience just being able to play the game, find something that I love, and
Yeah.
spend time designing a level around it, and getting great feedback from John, great feedback from Kat, and like really learning how to take and receive and work on feedback, because
Yeah.
I think I was a bit nervous at the start and tried to avoid that because it's so scary, like hearing the whole team like play your level and then feedback on it and say you need to change this or this would be better, but it just makes you a better designer. So
yeah.
it was a wonderful journey. I'm gonna miss it daily.
You're going to see so many people exploring, like experiencing it for the first time, and new levels created. I hope people will really love it. They're back to.
Yeah.
Oh, a little bit of spoilers there. Some spoilers. We're good. We're fine. Kat. Hi.
Hello.
So
I'm going to
Well-
sit a bit straighter. I feel really
the
slouched.
sofa encourages slouching.
I want to sit straight, and I
Super.
just feel like I'm getting consumed
Like
by the
this?
sofa.
It's so soft.
But I also didn't want to like sit here while
Right.
you're chatting to Erin and be like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
like,
just gonna be in the way.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. So as Maggie's playing through some more of the levels in World Map 1 now,
Yes.
we're all good.
Yeah, World
we're all
Map
good. What's it been like seeing the levels like coming? Obviously, you've been working. Your main focus has been like the set, but like you've been providing feedback and like what for you makes a good Tren level.
So I'm a bit biased in that I was brought in by John's idea. Everything has to be like realistic, right? So we're using this kind of style that Tren's made of real world things. We've got like the lovely Tren Set that the other John setting up right now. So everything should be believable. So I had a large focus on making tracks safe and make sense. So like all these kind of like little pipes and wooden posts and all this kind of stuff holding it all in place. I kind of helped try and enforce that, because you know what makes no sense if there's just track floating in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, how is this standing here? It's like magic. There's no magic. There is so much magic. But yeah, so I took that on board to try and, I don't know, encourage others to do it, because I knew what existed in the set, what you could use, how you could use it. Damn, Maggie.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. You're good.
I'm just listening to you.
I know. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so distracting. Yeah, and so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed like imparting that knowledge on people, and then either like working with them to do this, or like diving into their levels and not sneakily, just adding in supports.
Yeah.
Making them believable, where I could.
And what was it like because evidently things get wilder and wilder. What was it like seeing levels evolve from like, you know, a few little bridges here and there to stuff like this?
Yeah, very like super safe. Here is a train track. It doesn't have anything defying gravity, as in like these magnetic tracks that we can see on the side here. No, like crazy loops. It was really amazing. And then like just seeing the different levels that the designers on the team made. Just was like, you know, utilizing everything in the best possible way and figuring out new motifs and, you know, combinations that you could have to just make, I don't know, like I'd say definitely in a lot of cases, like jaw-dropping levels.
Yes.
Like when I played Ninja Octopus for the first time, I had to get my head around it, because I was like, how am I trying to do it? And I know me and Kevin, Christoph, we all like banded together to help give feedback. Right?
It was great feedback. It made it better.
To help like tutorialize it, and I think it, like the level itself is like so perfect when it clicks. You know, that moment when you're like, I know exactly what I have to do. Then you do that, and you're like, oh, this is so much fun.
It's like the best moment when you're playing levels in Tren is when you just get it, and you're like,
Yeah.
It's best.
So yeah, it was just really really fun seeing like I remember like Maggie's first level. Which was cute in like a little garden.
Yeah.
Because the Tren Set then didn't have like art elements.
Yeah.
So we hadn't had Theo join the team to do art passes, and Maggie grabbed bits from the Dreamverse and had some fun. And then now I look at the kind of stuff she made, and I'm like, it's just like a giant evolution. But you know, that's what Tren's been great for.
Yeah.
Because you know, we've had a team of amazing people all working together and learning from each other, and you know, just doing the best that they can.
Yeah. Amazing. And then Maggie, I know you're driving.
Do you want me to?
Of course, now you can drive.
So one of the questions I want to hit you with right now is obviously the time trial aspect of Tren is such a key part. What goes into like making a level achievable within like you know, like a gold standard, like a 3-star standard?
Oh, okay.
Versus a 1, and like not super hard, super easy.
So it was very difficult to like get the time right, how many pips you should get per level. And at some point I was like someone sat with me and be like, okay Maggie, so if you play the level and you just like do it like all right-ish, like you're not super speeding, you're not like super like, you know, trying super hard, but if it's like one of the first levels, you should get 3 pips.
Yeah.
And I like to think that if my mom could get 3, like, you know, if my mom could play this level and finish, okay, there should be like 3 pips in one of the like first zones. And obviously progressively later they get more and more difficult as you go on. And yeah, that's really it. Obviously we played the level a few times. We checked like what our time is.
Yeah.
For that level, and then based on that we're like, okay, so many people got this amount of time. It's like a harder level, so maybe we should add that should be the 3 pips, that should be the 2 pips. So yeah, it was mostly just trial and error all the time, just playing it and playing it and playing it.
Yeah. Until you find that perfect point.
Yeah, exactly.
And all the levels got balanced at the
Yes.
end.
Yeah.
Some of them were quite difficult sometimes, like very like, oh, you got 1 star for this. Like, no, sorry.
And then what's it been like for you, like designing levels in Tren? Like, how's the
when I
journey been
joined, it was like it was like a very free form. Like, okay, Maggie, here's the kit. Build something. I was like, okay. It was like one of the first weeks at MM. I was like, okay, what do I build? So I grabbed like notebook and I started planning. How to plan a 3D level like this? Like no clue.
And then I just like try to build something, but it's very difficult to find a balance between building like a toy like set, like in like a toy track that you play with, and like a level that is like a puzzle. So obviously it has to have a reason, like why you like let's say if you get a cargo, there has to be some kind of challenge to like deliver it. So you cannot have just like, oh, you get cargo at the end and you just get it. Bye. That's like it cannot be like this. Even if you build it, it's fun. It looks fun, but it has to have some kind of reason. It has to like be like a game, like video game, right? So I really struggled with that because I just built like a fun track and I was like, hey, play this. And I was like, okay, Maggie, but why do you give me cargo here if there's no challenge to deliver it? Or why here there's so many bumps but there's nothing to lose? Like, what's the point? So I was like, oh yeah, right. Like a big thing for me was when I spoke with many like team members, and at first I held myself to a very high standard, like, okay, my level has to be so fun, it has to be great. Yeah. But then I think it was Peter Field who said, building levels for Tren was quite difficult for me, and I was like, wait, Peter Field said that. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, it is difficult because you have to just find the right balance between this being like looking like when you see, you have to look interesting, you want to explore it and stuff, but also it has to be like right amount of like challenge, but not unfair. Yeah. And have to give people like the prize for winning, but it has to be like earned and stuff. So there's a lot of things like this. I learned just so much of like puzzle design, just working with Jon, working with Steve. That was so much. Like Steve, like he showed me so many things, how I can build stuff, make them better, how to build challenging stuff, how to build like crazy stuff. Like Steve's levels are so difficult. But yeah, it's just a lot of learning really, and just like feedback from other like team members and like asking them like what they think about this or that. And yeah, that's just really it. It was such a cool like journey.
Maggie made so many troll levels.
Oh, that was my favorite. Like
trying to
So I made them at some point.
There's a few and I really enjoyed it. We've got a few elements in the kit that we don't necessarily use that often, which are like collapsing bridges. And Maggie just made all these levels, which just made you want to like throw the controller down.
Have you ever played this game? There's this like game made like a text looking with a cat, and it's kind of like like a jumping style game, you know them games. Yeah. And it's like super troll. So if you like jump over like a hole, you've got like a thing on top, so you always get hit with it and just go straight to the hole. It's like, oh my god, that's such a cool idea. So I made a bunch of those. So for example, like a button that you just go through, and you just closes the gate front of it. It's like, why? Or like the bridge that just like, I think it just like would eat you straight away. Yeah. So you have to kind of think, okay, how to turn off this bridge, how to get here without getting eaten. It was just like, yeah, that's cool level.
So was that was there that sort of process of learning, like teaching yourself what a Tren level is, like really experimenting with ideas, not necessarily so sort of like just jamming. Like,
yeah, pretty much. It was like a massive part of the production of Tren, just like seeing what's fun, what's maybe not fun, what's like too annoying to play like there's a gate.
Yeah, and just like riffing off the best part of what works.
Yeah. Amazing. And then once you'd learned yourselves, what was that like? That experience of working as a team? Because obviously there had to be a shared like feeling amongst all of the levels. So did you sort of like, when you were feeding back, did you sort of say like, that's not really a Tren level, or was it more like, well, if it's got Tren in it, it's a Tren level? There was a lot more just sort of abstract thought. What was that sort of like team process like?
It depends. Obviously, when you give something to someone, they will tell you like Kat will say, this is unfair, or like I derailed on this corner like so many times, I don't like it. We're just very honest with each other and stuff. Yeah. But like the best thing, what makes a Tren level, obviously outside of the Tren being in it, is when someone else comes and fixes stuff for you, or like changes stuff in your level, and you kind of notice like this one level, I think it's later in the game, which we cannot show, but there was this one level that I got after Steve, and I changed it a little bit. I did some more stuff, made it like longer, and I had this cool idea at the end, and I made that cool. But obviously it's very difficult to like imagine what I mean without seeing the level. But I changed the ending, and then it was very messy. I had some like bugs and stuff, and then me and Kevin like spent ages like trying to fix it, make it better. Me and Christoph spent ages, and in the end Christoph came, rebuilt the end, and now it's so good. It like still has the same kind of like idea, what is it meant to do, what is it like require you to do as a player, but it's like works so much better, and it's just like the best thing when people come and like change your stuff and make it just like work like so much nicer. It's just great.
It's great. Just lots of like open collaboration. Really being precious about stuff. Yeah. And being able to just change stuff and make it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you all obviously understand the goal set from like Jon's vision and whatnot. And then I guess it speaks to the strength of like the kit itself, that it's so adaptable.
Incredible.
Like, yeah. You okay?
I mean, so I had like a big issue with the kid at first because
It's okay.
I mean, not the bad sense.
Holding a control.
So me and the lovely John Beech, we had many sit downs at the beginning because so when you build with the kid, you have to get the maths done sometimes. Like for example, when you build the bends, it's like at some point they just don't align, and I was like, what? Why is it happening? Or like when I rotated stuff, at some point, like I don't know, it's like very difficult maths problems. I cannot like talk about them on the it's just maths.
No, it's not great.
And I had those issues. I was like, John, this is a bug. Like we need to fix this. And then
a bug in math.
over and over again, John sits with me and be like, okay, Maggie, so do you see the problem now? Like this is just like geometry. And I was like, oh yeah.
Are you talking pre-snap points now?
I mean, so it was before the snap
Yeah.
points. Now it's just like, oh, you just build it ever so quickly. It's like done. But yeah, before that, it was just like, oh, so many.
So the team learnt math and geometry in Tren as well.
Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah.
All the maths.
We're all better because of Tren in many different ways.
So my teacher won't see that because she'll be like disappointed in me because it was just such a simple things, and I was just like, what? What do you mean it doesn't align? Like, so I couldn't like close the track. Like, why? I was like, oh yeah, basic maths.
I think.
Okay, don't laugh.
Hey, you're laughing too, Maggie.
I grew. Okay, I learned. And
That's
now
important.
It's better.
I think one of the things I'm really excited about, especially for you folks, is to like see the community taking on these levels and like probably solving them in ways that you might not have even like. Because that's an interesting thing for me with like puzzles and stuff. Is there's obviously the right way, but it's not necessarily the only way to solve them. So I bet you we're going to see some things where you're like, oh, I didn't expect you could just flip over that way and whatnot.
It's exciting, though.
Isn't it? It's so exciting. It's been, and like, I think we were watching, it was so fun, we were watching a stream, I can't remember the streamer's name, but this morning it was like, just as Tren launched, like, they were dedicated to getting those 3 stars. Like, and they'd been streaming for 20 minutes on the same level or something.
Oh my god.
So it's going to be really, really exciting to see everyone exploring them and like, finding out about Ninja Octopus like later and Maggie's levels later in the game. But yes, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
That means you're booting us off.
I don't want to. I feel bad. We've got the Impsider crew. The Impsider crew. They're going to come in and talk about the Impsider.
Those lovely writers.
They're kind of fun.
They're pretty
kind
cool.
of fun. We're going to hand over. Yeah, we're going to. So thank you, Kat. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great work on the design. Kat, we're going to see you in a bit. Talk about Tren Set. We're going to pop back over to Craft Corner, see where John's at. And we'll bring the Impsider crew in next.
Hello again. Hello. Is your we had got some confetti there.
Yeah, so well, it's very apt for what we're about to discuss.
Here we go. Well, why not?
Celebratory mood.
Is that where all the budget went for this?
Yeah.
Just the pure confetti of it all. Oh, we we should have some actual confetti cannons. I'm like, we still got time. Can we run out
Got the
and
whole
get some?
segment.
Just
Queue
for
them up.
us. Can
Queue
you
them up.
imagine? Anyway, hello. I'm back, and I brought with me my crew, my Impsider crew. My left and right hand. I'm the weird torso in the middle. Just losing my mind. These two are behind a bunch of the cool words that we write about the Dreams community over on the Impsider. And I had the very, very great pleasure of working with both of them on our latest little print production, as we love, the Tren manual. Which we, of course, found in an attic, but we will, pretend like we made it. I don't know. What is the law?
Respect the canon.
Who knows?
Respect the canon.
Anyway, we should do some intros. So, hello. If you haven't met me before, I'm Jen. I'm Jen Simpkins. I'm the editorial manager at Media Molecule. Who's this?
I'm Jacob. I'm a content curator at Media Molecule. See me often on some like the Thursday streams we do for community creations and stuff. But now, it's nice to be on stream for some of the editorial writing work that sometimes I get, occasionally dabble in and get roped into.
Yes, we rope you in constantly. Very good at it. And who's this on the end?
Oh my god, someone new! I'm Liam. I'm online content editor, so I kind of make the website work, but it doesn't always work. But if it doesn't work, you didn't see it. Just so you know.
That's right.
Yeah, it works 100% of the time. It works all the time, right?
Absolute legend. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. And also has written so much content on the Impsider. We actually don't have bylines because we're fancy like that and we're like the hive mind. But like, good to know that like you're the person behind how we made Art's Dream, like keeping the molecule profiles, like absolutely rattling them out. They're amazing.
All the hubs are legit.
All the
All
like
good
MM Originals hubs.
Yeah, new Tren Hub. Check out the Tren Hub.
The Tren Hub is absolutely
absolutely.
amazing. That is a great companion to this little thing we've got right here. So yeah, Liam, the person behind the words, finally with us on stream. Very exciting, very exciting. So yeah, we wanted to tell you a little bit about how we kind of made this thing and sort of why we made it. And I figured, to be honest, I should probably just interview you two because
No pressure.
I talk enough. But I can give the people at home a little bit of context. So we were like, oh, it'd be fun to do. We often do these kind of little magazine-y things for things like the live events we've done in Dreams. So for DreamsCom and All Hallows Dreams. And so when Tren was coming up, we were like, oh yes, we really want to make like something cool and something that's kind of in that nostalgic spirit. And actually, Martin Taylor, who's a lot of his amazing graphic works, basically set the whole foundation for this thing, which was designed by Harry Flanagan, who is a genius.
The legend.
Oh my god!
Just looking at the images, I'm like, gosh, the thing he made looks quite good.
It really does. And that's like
looks quite nice.
Fully down to Harry, who worked super, super hard, and off the back of Martin's amazing work, he'd been pumping out so many like little fun like bits just because for Tren. So we had so much to work with, and we were like, oh, we could probably knock up one of these like pretty decently with that stuff. So we did.
That all right?
Yeah, it was all right. I think it's all right. It's all right.
Tell us your verdict. What do you think?
It's all right.
But be nice.
So that was super cool. So like Martin and I were kind of like joking around, just sending each other like little things. He sent me a version of what the cover of this thing could look like back last year in 2022, and then we were like, let's bring out the whole gang because, Jacob and I had worked on the Halloween brochure before. Yes. Liam's done a bunch of like magazine work on our DreamsCon magazines before, and we were like, let's get the whole crew together for this.
It's like all-star cast, all-star writing cast for the Tren manual.
And it was great. I was just saying to Liam earlier, I have to mention how we were like, oh, what can we do for Tren? And, we've kind of been tossing this idea around for ages. And then one day Liam came up to me and was like, you know what we should do for Tren? Like a game manual. And I was like, do I have some stuff to show you?
The stars aligned, essentially.
We share one incredibly eloquent brain cell, I feel like. On this.
Eloquent is
Is that
a choice.
Very generous, very generous.
But I mean, let's ask you two a little bit. So, like, what are kind of your first memories of how we started putting this thing together? Like, Liam, how do you kind of remember coming on board with this thing?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, obviously, yes, we had that discussion, but honestly, I think like I remember just seeing Tren that first time and thinking, oh, this is special. This is so cool, and we need to do, go above and beyond for this. We really need to like do something really cool for it. And so actually, just having a conversation with you about the manual idea got me so excited because it's like there's so many options here. And we kicked about a few different ideas at first, didn't we? Of like, oh, how are we going to pitch this? Do we want it to be the manual that was lost in the attic, or do we want it to be like a straight game manual, or tons of ideas in between? And how about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting you bring that up because I think the core I remember when I came on, I remember you were pitching me, Jim was pitching me the manual. It's like the idea of like we should do like this is the next magazine project. Let's kind of do the manual. And for me, it was thinking, obviously coming from the Land of Lost Streams brochure that we did. I think how it's actually turned out. I think when we initially planned it, wasn't going to be this as close as it has ended up being. Yeah. But it's really ended up as almost like a spiritual successor, I feel like, to that project, both in like some of the cheekiness of the tone, but also the form of it, and very much how we use, some cheeky doodles, drawings. There's a lot of like hidden messages. But now we've got the finished manual in my hand. I think actually it makes so much sense for Tren to be like that, because for me, when I was thinking about Tren, it's such a gift because really the game is about nostalgia and the passing of time and passing on memorabilia from generation to generation, and trying to encapsulate that in a writing project. Really, it makes so much sense for the manual to be equally a treasured relic from like another generation. And then we have all these doodles and messages that then show that passage of time. So that was the part that I really connected with. And I think what Liam was mentioning about the decision that came down to quite early on is this a manual for the game Tren, or is this a manual for the toy Tren? And I think the decision ended up going to the toy, for me at least, largely because it was that trying to encapsulate that theme and making it the toy. We could really play with the concept of time that's in the game, within the writing, within the presentation, the design, so much more. And I think it's even though we're obviously playing on the nostalgia of game manuals as well, I think having it be like the way it is, it ties in, I think, so well to the world of Tren, the lore of Tren, that the game so beautifully sets up. So
yeah, it was super fun, and it's worth mentioning how much support we had from everyone. I mean, like Lucy Black, our amazing kind of UX writer, like looking through, helping us like zap any bugs, making sure it had parity with the game. I know that was something we were all really wanting to make sure was correct. But particularly from the Johns, where we would kind of take like bits and bobs to their doorstep and be like, is this right? Is this okay? Is this allowed? We kind of wrote a tone document actually at the beginning where we were like, okay, like who are we? Like what is the voice of this thing? Kind of how do we want to represent, Beech Corp, the brand, kind of what's going on here? What's the level of kind of evil? We were like, we almost don't want to go too pantomime-y like we did with Halloween, because it's just like, they're just as evil as any other capitalist organisation.
It was fun that we had the full character guide for Beech Corp. We had it for Detours as well, but with Beech Corp it was really like multiple pages of the setting the tone, who this obviously the corporation is, the entity, but also the characters behind it, and how they'd evolved. I mean, part of the manual is like which Liam wrote, the history, which I think is such a cool way of like illustrating how Beech Corp has evolved over time. and as John has just mouthed, Brett Corp, which you can find out more about the lore. And then obviously John Exley as well is such a massive help with, I think, talking about the the art direction, obviously the doodles and the passage of time. I mean, we had many discussions around like Ship of Theseus, House of Leaves,
which was very funny for us because again, like we did kind of a similar thing on Halloween, and we're kind of back here with the annotations, but it feels so right, And big shout outs to our amazing doodlers, which is actually the kind of children of MM, who I think Harry was like, I just can't fake kids' doodles. Like, it has to be the real thing.
Shockingly hard.
I know.
Really tricky.
And I know Martin's son, Louis Taylor, Harry and I call him King Louis because he provided including this doodle on the lights of Beech ad, which is like Liam's idea about kind of beech trees in general. I wanted the first pitch for it was so wild but really funny, and it was like, we can't do that, but we should do something with it. But your first pitch about the CEO was very funny. Please tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the CEO would be a beech tree. Essentially was the joke. But I think this was when we were still just throwing out a bunch of wild ideas. This was when we were still trying to work out the tone and exactly how evil is Beech Corp. How hard do we want to go with this? And so we were just throwing out crazy ideas. And thought, what if the Beech Corp CEO was just a beech tree, an evil beech tree that people listen to for some reason? But then it kind of could end up going into like a weird dark religious cult area, and we're like, maybe steer clear of that.
But can you leave it in the bank for another day?
There'll be other opportunities to use it, I'm sure.
That was like, it's just such a fun idea though, and it was like, well, like we kind of, have to kind of pay homage to CEO Jon, but I was like, the beech tree thing is so funny, and we kind of had these beautiful kind of ad ideas to work with, and Harry was going, to all of us, like, if you've got any ideas, let us know, and we were like, Liam, like, press on this beech thing, because that's like quite funny, and then we came up with, this kind of dubious.
And remember, as a new sapling grew.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, very poetic. But I guess, we went with what's another evil thing that companies do is greenwashing. And we're like, well, Beech Crop's probably not above that. They'll do anything almost. So, we ended up with Beech Crop, which was...
It's nice.
A great pun.
Oh, thank you so much. And like a last minute, for ages, it was actually like Beech Cops. Because I was like, oh, that's kind of like Beech Corp, and cops like trees, and then it's like it's one of those things where you have to think, okay, is this joke going to land? Like, does everybody know what a copse is? No, but like crop and the switch. And I remember, I think it was like the day we were going to send to print, and I was like, Harry, I'm so sorry, but that has to be Beech Crop.
The crop
like,
brainwave was.
I can change it.
Maybe the last contribution to the manual.
It really was. But like what you're saying about kind of like our little commentary on kind of like we're kind of like toying with some like fun, quite cheeky humour in this, I would say at points, and kind of touching on things we think are like kind of funny and satirical, and we're all big fans of stuff like Kunk on Earth and Brooker, and I feel like a lot of our kind of writing influences and comedy influences come from the same place, which is why it's so fun to like bounce ideas off the both of you. But like one thing that feels really nice about like making these things and editorials, we're like really given a lot of leeway to like be a bit cheeky and have some fun, and kind of push it a little bit, which I always appreciate. Like we haven't been told off yet.
It'd be quite brutal to tell us off after it's been published, but
like,
never. Beech Corp has no limits. So.
Take the Sharpies out and redact it all. So yeah, we've got some kind of cheeky winks and nods. We've lots of little references, lots of little secrets, as many as we could possibly, I think, pack in the time we had to get this going and get it printed up so we could start sending it out to people. But you can, of course, print your own copies on InDreams.me.
And the size is very specific.
Oh, it fits perfectly into the Dreams box. I will have to tweet out another picture of it because I love it so much. And I think when Dorian came to visit, I think maybe it was Dorian, I think, who'd kind of figured it out. And I was like, this is no accident. This was a Harry Flanagan.
We've seen a few like people like slip in the box who've had the manual, and it's very satisfying.
And I've already seen Kaduka who was saying like, I've sent off my copy to get printed. And I know it means like an awful lot to all of us to see people really kind of vibing with it in the same way. Because I think, and really I kind of want to give it over to you guys, it'd be like kind of explaining why we did this, because this was actually a lot of effort to go to.
It's like surprising,
For something that is quite small, quite extra, but like why did we do this? Like what's your, like why bother making something like this?
I think we all like print, don't we? We're all quite big fans of print media. Print media for me. and I love game manuals. We all love game manuals, and we want to see more. So it's like, Dreams didn't have one, but we could make one and add it to it.
And I think we've seen with Tren. I mean, all the whole stream, and if you've played it, you'll know obviously from the off. But like Tren is all about details for me. Like, and what Jon has said. Like, it's all about the game is obviously super polished and amazing to play, but it's like about the photorealistic details in the environment, the world map, and like the levels. And it's like if you take the idea of a game, I feel like the game manual is like it's that extra 1%, which makes it feel complete, and it's like the extra detail, which we didn't have to do this, but just like everything else in the game, like doing it just makes it feel a bit more complete, and being able to physically hold it and rifle through. And even if you just read it online, like you just get that, you get to see the beautiful designs and the context. And not only does it if you play it before Tren, like I think it's a really nice introduction. Like you get some of the world map, you get some of the lore, and if you play it after Tren, like just as much, you'll again get some of those Easter eggs, some of those secrets that will enrich the whole experience. So like we didn't have to do it, but I think doing it is that is in itself the reason to do it. Like, because we could.
Yeah, and it's just fitting perfectly with the game's theme as well. And like, I remember when I was kind of first giving my little PowerPoint presentation to the Johns and being like, you know, who were like on board from like day minus
things
one.
like slide
so I
2,
didn't
it was
even
like,
really
yes.
need to pitch it. They were like, yes, go ahead, whatever you need, let's help. But you know, I think I was saying like, you know, not many people do this kind of weird extra, like you say, detailed just because thing. And like, I think that's what I've always really loved and admired about MM, you know, and this kind of handmade, like, we did it just for fun and because it's cool and because it feels right and because it's extra, because it's small. And like, I just love that we get given the time and space to do that. And hopefully that comes across to everyone else. But yeah, basically, just nice to be on the same page as these two with like why we would do something like this. And like, I couldn't have asked for any better people and writers to do this with. Like every time we're all in kind of a, you know, bouncing ideas off each other, like writer's room, kind of trying to one up each other's jokes and like push everything to be as
I mean, there were
best
some
as it
threads.
can be.
There were some threads for some of the writing in this. Like, there was a lot of workshopping, but in the best, it was like the best project to ask for this kind of thing. 'Cause it's just it comes delivered all the best. Already it comes delivered with the best lore and most interesting kind of like, you know, things to play off and riffs. And you know, just when we were talking about researching, I was just thinking like the amount of actual manuals, and like there's a bit in Tren Rebellia where I talk a bit about like the Magic play and like the fake video games, and I think the amount of like 80s video game cutouts and ads that I read for that, like that alone made it all worth it. So like just the time period, the references, it is so fun to write on.
Huge, you know, virtual whiteboard of kind of all our influences and things that we grew up playing and reading the manuals for, and hopefully all that comes across the same way that, you know, all of the amazing kind of art references in Tren come across as well. So just another way. But yeah, thank you so much to both of you for coming on and chatting about our manual exploits. Where can people find it, Liam? You know these things.
Yeah, people can find it on on our website, on InDreams, dogs.indreams, or you can just search for Tren Manual. It's probably going to come up. It's quite a good SEO thing, actually, isn't it? So nailed that.
Thank you, Tren.
Well done, John. But yeah, also thanks to Jen, because she kept us on track. Yeah, like that. Yeah, we're here all week.
That's why we have him in here. Of course you can, John. Oh my gosh. I'm like,
chaos, let's go.
Hi, John.
Hello. Maybe you will pick this up on the mics, but I just want to say that the manual is as much a part of Tren as literally any other part of the game. It really is part of it. It's not an extension, it's not an add-on, it's just as much Tren as the rest of it, absolutely. So make sure you read it, either online or get it printed out, ideally.
You've been told.
Beech got CEO approval.
It will come for you. So there you go, now you have to read it. But yeah, what a vibe. Thank you very much. I think we'll get out here then and return to our writing caves.
And try to like, a little
Right.
Hello. We are back. We've had a donut break.
I mean, I have.
You didn't have a
Where was
donut
my
break.
donut?
Well, this is awkward.
Yeah,
Everyone apart from Kat and John have had a donut break.
I'm fine.
We had donuts.
They've got donuts over there. Do you have good donuts? We'll make sure you
the,
get a donut.
the peeps doing the hard work are having the
Yeah, we're
donuts.
just sat here.
I'm indifferent
You
to donuts for the most part.
I'm also vegan, and I
they're
don't
alright.
think they're
They're
vegan.
probably not, no, unfortunately.
That's right.
But you did make us some excellent
Yeah.
Tren shortbread
I did. That were vegan.
that were vegan. So there's plenty of sugar going around the office.
Yeah.
we run on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, where are we at? We're back. Hello. Tren celebration launch continues. I've got the John and the Cat with me. As you may have seen, the Tren Set is finished.
It's fully operational.
Literally.
It looks
Oh,
amazing.
it's not moving now.
No.
Oh, poor Tren.
There we go. You might have seen Tren run over a little person. It gets violent over there.
Yeah.
But we're back. So we heard from the fabulous Impsider people about the manual. Which
They're
is
amazing work.
Amazing.
And like John said, as much of a part of the game as Tren itself.
Very much so.
But we're going to talk about another part of the game right now, and that is the Tren Set, which we've heard mentioned throughout the stream, and it's everything. Oh, John and Kat, it's what Tren is made out of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Any
Moving
more
on,
questions?
Next
Tom?
we will be hearing
Done.
from Bogdan on Snap Voice. Kat, why don't we have a dive into the?
Yeah, I was like, if I can
long
see
as
the
we
screen,
move out of the screen.
because I just needed to get to the exit button.
Of course.
To be able to
So
back out.
while we're going through it, we're just sort of like, what makes up the Tren Set? How many? What are the parts, the pieces?
Yeah, so we'll start off with the obvious parts is the track pieces.
Yeah.
And as I was making the track pieces and people were starting to build levels with them, like Steve and Maggie, they were like, "Oh, John, we could really do with a X piece." And so I go, "Okay," and I'd start making it. And poor Cat thought, there'd be like 100, maybe 150, maybe 200s pushing it. But every day I'd go, "Look, I've just made this just a different corner, Cat. Is that okay?" And Cat's like, "Yes, John."
Like, I just made this drop off. Oh, I just made this little half a unit end. Or I just made this half unit straight. Or I just put together. I can't see another one in here that I could.
But it was relentless.
Yeah.
It was,
I loved it though because we were providing a service, right?
Yeah.
The team needed it.
Yeah, what we didn't want to do was cheat with Tren. We didn't
Yeah.
want to, when making the levels, we didn't want you to hack the track pieces. I'm perfectly fine with the community to do whatever they want with the track pieces, but for our levels, I wanted every piece to be official. So when people like Steve or Christoph were sort of making stuff for their levels that didn't use an official piece, they'd kit bash stuff together. Then I'd go, right, I just make that piece. There was a point where we had to stop, and I started towards the end. I was making less functional track pieces and more the barriers and the girders and all the. We'll get to that in a bit, and they're amazing. But on top of the track pieces, and I think Theo mentioned it earlier, we extracted a select amount of the art pieces as well, and there's some really, really strong, amazing art pieces in there that people will be able to use, not just for the Tren tracks, but all over the place.
Yeah, I think that's one of the exciting things about the Tren Set, right? It's you don't need to use it for Tren stuff at all.
Yeah, you can use it for whatever you want.
It is just it's another a mini molecule made kit for Dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
That just also happens to there is a Connie in there that just also so happens to have been exactly what you used to make the game.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a question is how did that work? Did the kit start life first? Did the game come first? How did you sort of keep going? Did development of the game inform what you needed for the kit? Obviously you were saying you every day you were I've made this piece. Was that off the back of developing the game, or and sticking to those rules of whatever you use has to be in the kit?
It was simultaneous development, I would say.
Yeah.
As in the game's aesthetic and its whole embodiment is the kit, and the kit is the game. So they were so intertwined, so heavily intertwined that it's hard to draw a distinction between the two.
Yeah.
I think in stuff we'd done before, we'd make the game and then we'd pull the kit out of it.
Yeah.
But in the case of Tren, it was really at the same time, which allowed the audio team to come in and audio pass stuff really early because it really was using the kit.
Yeah.
And then when Kat became involved and sort of basically took control of the kit and started making it all, just incredibly well curated, Kat would then be like, "Oh, John, we actually we need this, and she would ask me questions like I'd sort of knock stuff together, and Kat's like, yeah, but John, if we've done this, that means we should definitely have this and that, and if we have this, because of the way the kit's made, we should definitely have this. So it started to they started to like feed off each other, the game and the kit. You know, they're just hand in hand. There is no real distinction between the two, I would say.
And so, what was that experience for you, like Kat, like piecing this together alongside?
I don't know. I thought it was really fun because I was really worried that people would be like, "Do you want to do another kit?" Because like of the MN releases we've done, I've worked on like nearly every kit that we've released, but I've not usually had, I guess, as much creative control helping me with it. So I worked with Martin a lot on creating how beautiful these all look, and having that just, I don't know, it felt like we could make like next level collections without adding any new features, right? To try and make something that felt more meaningful, especially for kind of like, you know, a big release that we were doing. I mean, I remember when it was like, cool, we've got 200 items in the kit now. That's more than Ancient Dangers had. We probably don't want to add much more. And it kept going up.
What's the final figure?
It's like 560, I think, something along those lines. It just kept like creeping up, and I just remember being like, cool, let's see what is that, and me just worrying in the back of my head, being like, oh, the poor QA having to test everything, poor Lucy having to do the checks and words and everything. Oh, Tom's got to make sure he has audio done on everything with his team, and yeah, I'm always worrying about everyone else though. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Like, talking to the art elements, I really enjoyed like kitifying them, because John Exley made like a lovely what word do I want?
The VizDev?
Yeah, VizDev. A lovely VizDev and it was like, just pick some stuff out of it. So I picked the things that I thought were cool, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'd be like, how on earth would I make, where is it? A D20.
Yeah.
Or, you know, these cute little ones from Theo as well. But early on, when I was working on the kit in early days, I enjoyed that there was a cutting mat. Yeah. So I got the scale of the cutting mat to be the same as my cutting mat at home, so I could then make sure all the elements are like real scale.
Amazing.
So I used my cutting mat at home, and I put like a sharpener on it, and I put a push pin on it, and I put a pair of scissors on it, put a pencil on it, put a pen on it, just to try and get the right ratio going on to add to that realism that Tren is. Of course, then Theo made this amazing ruler, which I wish I had from the get-go, because that would have just been so much easier than me using a craft mat. But yeah.
And also, I'd made the real life pens by that point.
Which
so
actually, that was my way of using it. Yeah. So yeah, sorry, John had made his lovely 3D printed models and lent me some, right?
Yeah.
You lent me a pillar, cargo, a wagon, and maybe a track piece.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And John was like, okay, well, you know, these are the specific measurements that the game's using. So that's how I made the cutting mat be the correct scale.
Right.
Because I made the cutting mat then match the scale, and then everything went off that. And it was all, influenced by your track piece and your Tren pieces. They were like the egg. I don't know. Is that where it started?
The seed.
Kit's the chicken, the seed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
the seed.
John mentioned the other day. That's how long we've been streaming for, folks.
Earlier on today.
About how, like, if you pull out a piece of the track, it's presented to you as if like it like in the same left to right and everything, and like those attentions to detail. I think like it just makes it all such a special experience using this kit, and that's such a lovely thing for the community.
Yeah, you'll notice it when you're looking at the pieces as well, that generally the way they're shown is the way that they go in, and generally I try to have them all in the same direction, but then you can see later editions sometimes don't do that. I remember having loads of fun just coming up with this ideas for things with Martin. Just like, hey, look, this is how you build your own pieces. This is more for advanced people. Give everyone the tools that they need, which John has created. I mean, like, because this is the one thing I don't know. So when you made Tren, your first, like, the little version we saw earlier on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have? I guess you made a kit first, right?
Oh yeah, I think I made one straight, one corner. Then after having that one loop, that's when I made a Tren. So that's how it started off. Like, so it was definitely like kit first, as in 2 pieces, and then Tren, and then it just sort of extrapolated out from that point. I was going to say, actually, like going through this, the backgrounds of these collections are incredible, and we've never displayed a kit in this way. And I think we'd got to the point where we had like 200 pieces, like you said, and it seemed like loads, and it was just like piled up in one collection. Like I'd vaguely categorized them when I was using it myself, but not heavily. And we were really struggling to think like, how are we going to categorize this many things? You know, like this could live here and this could live here, and it was going to be like an arbitrary set of collections to go through. And Martin and Kat got together and were just like, we could just make it the boxes, like as if it's presented like a real product. And so it just really, really helps you navigate it, because you see those boxes, you see the background, you see like the expert spur, the colours represent like the complexity of the kit parts, you know, and you can just see all the track pieces are up at the top, and you've got the vehicles, and you have those little baggies with like the helpers in, you know, and it just, as soon as that happened, everything else just fell into place. And again, it was another instance of the game telling you what it needed. You know, like Tren has this product of like being in boxes and being like a real thing, and that's where the sort of idea for like how we organised it, in the sense of people to come in and use it. And then Kat obviously and Martin just sort of ran with that. And I mean, I just look at it, and I can, whenever I use it now, it's just a joy to go and find pieces. You know where everything is, you know. Like that bit over on the right where it says experts, you know, like, and it's clearly like, whoa, and you go in there, and then you've got all the individual little pieces to do what you want. And I just think it's glorious to see it. The background's used in such a fun way. Really made it for me when that happened. There was like this real like light bulb of like, yeah.
It was so. My words are just leaving me again. It was just amazing when I finally got all the lovely box versions from Martin and got to implement them in, because it was like, I don't know, it felt like it finally fell into place, right? So because for ages I'd like set these up in like a really rushed way, because I didn't have all these lovely box covers and like the inserts. I'd made like the vacuum form thing with Martin and the boxes, but everything else was just kind of placeholder, because there's no point spending time on something if you're waiting for something from someone else, right?
Of course.
And just getting them in was just like, oh, look at it, look at how lovely it is. It's just a gorgeous kit.
Yeah. And another thing I'd say about the kit as well, when we were, you know, because it's obviously the largest kit we've ever done.
Yeah.
And there was a point when that was getting scary. Like, why are we making such a large kit? But it was important because it was so, unlike anything else we've done, it really was the game. Like I said, there was no division. It was intrinsic. So because the kit is very much part of Tren, that's why we ended up putting so much focus on it, as opposed to it just being like an addition at the end. Like, people can build their own tracks. No, we built the game with the kit.
Yeah.
And that's why it made sense to have it so big. Like, initially it seemed like, what we're doing, this is foolhardy. We're going way too big with this. But actually, when you rephrase it into the focus of it not just being the kit, the add-on, it is the game, it suddenly makes like so much sense. Which is why it's so well done, so well thought out, so deep and rich and varied and wonderful. And
I think it's almost like that quintessential like Dreams experience.
Yep.
Like Tren as a whole, right? We've got the kit creation there. We've got the excellent made game, like all the spirit and everything there. It's the quintessential experience. And obviously there'll be people that are using this kit for ages for their own stuff. And we've got people in the chat that are already saying like, I've started playing around with the kit and I can't wait, and like loving the presentation. A lot of love for like Martin. We've obviously mentioned Martin a lot. Who's like this ever present, like he's ever present. Martin Taylor. The massive shout out to Martin. Let's give a shout out to Martin. I'm so excited to see what people do with this kit.
I want them to remix it as well. I can't wait for them to make their own track pieces and stuff, because you can just look at how we've made any of these pieces, and then go like, oh, I really need one that's like this, and just it's all laid out. We'll probably do a stream like a masterclass on make a bit of track or something like this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I remember, because Jon had made loads of these amazing pipes, and I was like, oh, I could really do with, I think I set up that one, because I was like, oh, if I just use one of these and just change it slightly, making sure to use all the little dirt and have it fit right into place. I was like, hey, Jon, how's this? He's like, oh, okay, that's really good.
Approved.
Yes.
Because like lots of the kit, I would say that's what I was mostly responsible for on Tren, was like generating the kit pieces. So I probably made like, I don't know, 90% of the Tren things. That was what I mostly focused on. Obviously, Theo was doing all the art stuff. Stuff sounds so like
it's just
the
stuff,
amazing, incredible art
stuff. art stuff.
Threw it in.
But it was really fun to just like nerd out over this, and like as more and more people came on, and I took more and more sort of lead roles, as it were.
Yeah.
And I was doing less hands-on, but like at least once a week I'd go in and like just make like a little barrier or something, just
cheeky
like,
little,
your
cheeky
little
piece.
barrier.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, Jon, have you managed to make that piece I was asking about? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We should probably actually talk about like some of the pieces, and we should just like give a whistle top.
Do a whistle stop tour, and then because then we'll be talking about snap points.
Yeah.
Whistle stop tour.
Yeah.
I've not heard that term before.
Whistle stop.
It just means like zipping around all the different things and saying, here's a bit of this.
What do we want to?
We should start with, we're in tracks, so we should start with that. So let's look at straight
Martin
pieces.
is in chat.
Martin!
He's saying he's blushing.
We love
you, Martin.
You missed out on shortbread.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Boo.
And donuts.
And donuts. I don't know. So what, do we want to talk through? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we've got, we just, how about I do this, and then you go to a collection, you do the next collection, and we'll just go through a few.
Yeah.
So here we've got straights, mostly. They're just different lengths. Everything is a fraction of a width of a track. So mathematically, they eventually line up, and we just called them units. So a track width is 1 unit, and so you can extrapolate how big they are. We've got end pieces. Sometimes they just come to a stop, if you're going to have like a lift or something like this, or a jump. We have chevron pieces. I did this before we had sticker tech, so I didn't want the stuff to be expensive, so I made these a couple of chevron pieces, and they've got alternate. All of the track pieces are actually alternate on either side. They have different textures, so you can vary stuff up. We've got movable tracks, so we have things like hinge, so you can set an angle of a bit of track, and we've got like a flexi track, which is like a rope bridge. We have this safe landing area. They're really useful. We've got a takeoff and a safe landing area, and there's some special logic on those, which you'll see when you place them down, which basically locks your Tren onto like a 2D plane, so you can make sure you land safely if you're doing some like super jumps and stuff like that. Confetti covered, exactly what it sounds like. There's confetti all over them. Liftable tracks, so the Popter and the Tren Kren and the Kren can pick up this liftable track. Oh, another amazing thing Kat's done is taken multiple. There's a lot of pictures, and she's taken multiple pictures of everything, showing how it's used.
Amazing.
So when you're over that liftable track, it was showing you it lifted up. It put in. This is like telling the liftable track where to go. It's like the logic at the bottom. But on every track piece, Kat went to the effort. Almost every track piece, Kat went to the effort of, especially the more complex ones, just demonstrating their use just by hovering over it a little bit. Obviously, you've got crossroads, the accessory adapters, so you can put things like traffic lights and barriers and little posts and all kinds of jazz like that. We've got the various like double socket and double plug ends, because sometimes you'll come around a corner and you go, oh, now I've got 2 plugs or 2 sockets, and you've got to swap it up. And the variable length, warning, it's one of the more expensive pieces to use, but you can basically got a slider and you can change the length
do that
of it.
on a stream?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
you did that on one of the streams we did, and you could extend it.
Exactly, and it's really important because as soon as you go off a 90-degree grid and you go to like 45 degrees or whatever, as you loop back around, you'll find that it just mathematically it doesn't match together. This is the problem that Maggie was mentioning earlier. So you can use this to just tweak it to put it into the exact right place. Now, if you're trying to save thermometer yourself, you can actually just get 2 bits of track and like chop it in half and put it together. But if you want the simplicity of sticking it in and using a little slider, that's what that was for. Like,
I forgot about that.
Take another collection, anyone you want.
I mean, I feel we might be here for a long time if we do everything. Do we want to go over track? Should we move to another?
Why don't we just talk about this as a general, and then
Okay.
and then you
Yeah.
talk,
So we've also then got a collection. Actually, I did this a lot. So whenever I did updates to the kit, I would record little videos and send them around to the team. So I'd be like, oh, I've added this in now. We've got images for this. These have been passed. These are in the kit now. You can use them. You're free to. Because generally I'd tell people, please don't use these yet because it might change. Because I had people moan at me because I was breaking levels. Because it was like, hey, I updated this and it moved up. I'm like, that wasn't approved yet.
No.
Didn't have a stamp of approval.
Unapproved
Yeah.
move.
So we have various curves that you can use, and thanks to snap points, which you'll find out about soon, it makes it so much easier to snap these together. Jon gave us a masterclass in the early Tren days on how to work with the grid to work with these pieces.
Yeah, because we didn't have snap points back
Yeah.
then.
You'll have a grid.
Yeah, and you had to like multi-clone stuff around to get the angle and then delete it. Complicated.
The whole thing.
It
Yeah,
worked.
yeah.
But it does mean that everything's perfectly on grid as well as
Yes.
snap points working.
Yes.
So it's like a double win now.
So yeah, we've got a bunch of curves that you can use along with helixes, which also come up in here. No, they don't. They come up in here as well. So we've got various like twists and curves and transitions for those. So you'll want to use the transition when you go from a straight into a slight curve, because if you try and just put the slight curve onto the straight, it will not work. Your Tren will not be very happy.
No.
We've got some super cool little, we've called stunts and tricks, fun, having fun.
I love the
words. All the fun stuff,
Fun
really.
stuff.
It's like, if you want to add fun stuff, if you want to have your Tren do flips, I recommend these two. Not so much this little one, but it depends where you want to put a track below, right?
Yeah.
How much height you have in your level. We've got junctions, which includes crossroads, and then the lovely turntable, which we saw in Jon's video earlier in the first stage of it. You can see there, look, it lights up when Tren can go on it, and then you can rotate it around. It's nice and simple. Then we've got various ramps, which certain elements in the art kit as well will work with the certain ramps too. So some are like the perfect height for sitting under the ramps.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you can, use 45s, you can use 22.5s. Talking about ramps, we have magnetic tracks. And then, so you can use these to defy gravity. They'll help your Tren and your carts stick to the track piece. But you can also make your own using this Magnetrack adapter.
Magnetrack adapter.
You just then have to, you can use snap points to help you, but then you can also clone from the snap points if you've got like curves going on and stuff.
Is that trademark Beech Corp?
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, that was, right? Look.
Oh, yeah. No,
Oh, no, it doesn't have, it doesn't have a T. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Magnetrack.
Told you.
Nice, yeah.
I knew
Beech
it
Corp,
was.
Always watching.
What else? We've got switches to be able to switch your direction. So we've got a load of variations for those. We have slide rails, which are mainly used for cargo management within the levels, but you can also do some cool puzzles, which if you play Tren, you'll find some of those cool puzzle levels, which use these and have things moving on them. We've got double width track pieces. These can be nice for a landing or for working with the Tren ship. Is it called a ship or is it called a boat? It's a ship.
Boat, ship.
Ship.
No, let's not get into that debate.
No.
What's a ship and what's a boat?
Curved straight junctions, and then we've also got we popped in the challenge station tile that we have in the world maps, so people can make their own if they wish.
Of course.
What collection would you like?
Let's go for the track accessories, please.
Love these.
Let's go for supports, I reckon. Yeah, there's a lot here.
Whoa.
So over on the left-hand side, we've got all the barriers. So these will snap with snap points onto the sides of tracks. There's loads. I'm not even going to go into detail about them, but there's various curves and end pieces and different radiuses of curve. You'll probably get to a point. These were really, really hard to make,
right,
sculpture-wise. And so anytime I had to make one of like a different radius, it's like, right, here we go again. And like it was a lot. So it doesn't have all the curve radiuses. Maybe I'll add some later officially. Then we've got all like the different bridge pieces. And I realised because we ended up with the barriers and the little track straps, which are sort of on the right where it says straps, some points we couldn't add the pillars, like Kat was saying earlier. And it was important things didn't just float in the air. So we had these straps, which you could strap two bits of track together to make it look more official. But then we've got the adapters in the top left where you can adapt from like a strap to a bridge and a bridge to a strap, and like there's lots of different things that they all connect together. Like we've tried to make it as interconnected as possible so that whenever you use it, you're like, oh, I wish I had this bit. Oh, we do have this bit.
Yeah.
And then this is all the pillars that hold stuff up in the air. Some of them are motorized. Some of them are like extending pistons. Some of them are twisted on angles. And then there's the make your own pillars on the right hand side. So if you want one that's like 20 foot tall, yeah, go for it. You know, you can make those. There's some amazing pieces in there. And Cody came in right at the end. Shout out to Cody, and made some of these bottom sort of right ones. I just went, Cody, I just need like a load of different, and he just did it.
Just did it.
It was amazing. Just like that. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
How much more time have we got for kit talk, Tom?
We could probably look through one more.
I thought you were going to be like, -5.
You are now late.
You are way.
Shall we
No,
jump? Let's jump in the containers of wagons.
Sure, yeah.
So Tren can carry various cargoes, and here are a few of them. This one's very cute. You might recognise this little guy. But yeah, so all cargoes as well have their own different ways of carrying them. We also have here the slosh wagon, which is also TM.
Yeah, of
Beech
course. Yeah.
You know,
What is slosh though? That is the
What is it? Do we want to know?
Who do you?
Is it like a last Guardian? Is it a Last Guardian kind of deal, or is it just?
Who knows what Beech Corp?
But yeah, so all of
That's a dark
these.
joke, I'm sorry.
All of these cargoes, and because the liftable track can be cargo, can then be carried by wagons. So we've got our lovely standard flatbeds, which carry cargo, and we have permaclamp trademarked versions, which mean your cargo won't go flying if you fly around a bend. If your train comes off the track, though, we're not responsible for that.
Of course, nice. Good
can't do anything about that.
Good disclaimer.
Yep. And then we've got the slosh wagon in. Also, actually, I suppose I should mention what these are.
What are these?
So these are some roller wagons.
Oh.
So there's a really cool level when you get to near the end of the game that shows these off in an amazing way. But basically, yeah, you can. It's a tease. Just play the game. They basically the track pieces, you can use them.
Double-sided.
They're double-sided, so you can use these to help your Tren get around.
Yeah, it can drive upside down without magnets.
Yeah, without magnets.
Amongst other
Because
things.
these friendly wagons can help them out.
Because they hold on.
Yeah. And then we also have this track flatbed, holds the track piece that we saw earlier. Then we've got, just a variety of other bits. So this can hold the spherical light cargo. And then this one, look, you could hold cola bottles.
We love the cola bottles.
Polystyrene, peanuts, or gophers,
Of course.
The cola bottles are my favourite sweet.
Oh, I love those cola bottles.
Great choice. Everyone at MM is obsessed with the cola bottles in Tren. They just love them so much.
Oh, and you can pop a pillar on a wagon. Pop a pillar. There's some nice puzzles in the Tren game. In Tren.
In the Tren game.
In the Tren game that use the accessory wagons as a puzzle. So I highly recommend those. And I'm just going to zoom in on the cola bottles because let's look at the cola bottles.
Yeah. Look at those.
Yum,
okay.
yum,
Now for
yum.
Because I really like cola bottles. I was like, I need
this
to make
has
them.
to be in
It has to be
It's the
correct.
joys of being the lead.
Nice? I can't remember if I kept in. Yeah, look at that. This is me having a go at art because you've got to do stuff, and I love red cables.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and I think I've got them lying. Yeah, look at that. They're lying cables. Love it.
I mean, John basically
Well done.
actually just went on like a sweet binge like 1 week and just
Yeah,
made
I loved
all of the sweets. And there's the lollipop. Where's the lollipop?
This
the
one?
red,
The red one?
The
Or
red lollipop, yeah.
The chalky one?
The red one, yeah. It looks, in the game, it looks so juicy, and I still don't know how John quite...
The juiciest lollipop.
So juicy.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Look at that, you could do tricks
Look
off
at
it.
that. Yeah. One of life's biggest mysteries is
See,
how it looks so juicy.
you can tell that I had a lot of fun just making photos.
Yeah, they're great.
But yeah, it's because, I had amazing pieces to work with. I feel there should... have I not
The
got...
twisty marshmallow you just didn't care for?
Damn.
No.
You were just
you're
like,
not.
no.
You're like, no, it doesn't deserve...
Sweetie egg? Oh, there you go. Where else would you fry your eggs?
Of course.
On a telegraph wire.
Absolutely, in Tren World.
There you go.
There you go. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
And yeah, that is
amazing.
That is the
Yeah.
kit. I'm looking forward to doing some other streams where we can really like
Dive
be
into
cool.
it.
some of the pieces.
Oh,
I just want to thank John for letting me focus on the kit because it was really nice being able to do that. Because every other time I've had to do kits as an afterthought while doing other things, and for Tren, I was allowed to focus on it, and I was like, yes, I'm not having to, do all this. Like I did other stuff where I was doing stuff, but yeah.
That made me so happy
TV
every
is going
day.
idle.
She just like
Could someone push
made everything perfect and would come to me saying, John, what do you think about this? I was like, oh, I can't believe someone's actually thinking about this. And I just wanted to basically come and hug Kat through the screen every day. Like, thank you for caring about the kit. Like, so yeah, it meant a lot to me, and I'm so glad that Kat held that mantle and took it on, because it was initially I was like, we've got this really great kit, and people were like, kits, I was like, no, it's important, it's really important. Yeah, and I think now you can see why.
Yeah. We want to help people make their own games.
100%, and this is now available in Dreams to go do
in
exactly
Dreams,
that.
Tren Set, available in Dream Shaping.
There.
And look at this lovely piece of artwork, I just want to say as well, from Theo.
That's my wallpaper, Theo.
Yeah.
He's not here anymore.
Oh, he's gone. Oh.
So wherever Theo is,
Left.
basically as
My
well as
wallpaper.
arting up all the challenges, he also helped out with the key art,
Boot
with
screen,
the collection boot screens,
The templates.
with the templates. That guy.
He's not
Just-
here.
He's a machine.
He's not here. He's not
More than
working.
He's a machine.
He's just unbelievable.
We're giving him praise. He's not here.
Yeah.
Oh, can I actually show one last thing
Of
from the
course.
kit? Because I was, where am I? Some people might recognise. I'm trying to use my eyes. Where are the cats? There you go.
Charlie Mute. Oh, look at them.
So,
Clouder. Great.
Martin's cat is Charlie.
Charlie,
This is
yes.
Ulfric.
That's your cat.
It's my cat.
Frick.
Then I've also got one of Tom's,
Nice.
Mr. Colvin,
Nice.
and then I've got Rex, and Darjeeling, one of Christoph's cats.
Amazing. His cat's called Darjeeling.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And this
If
is what I
that's
meant
me
about
saying it right.
people getting
People
themselves
into it, yes.
into Tren
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
their
it.
pets.
Well, yeah, I
Exactly
felt
it.
bad because I didn't put Charlie in it, but it's also because Martin's cat is similar to Ulfric in that they're like white and ginger. And I was like, I can't have a white and ginger and a black and white and have a ginger. So I was like, the sign. However,
Perfect.
you might spy Charlie in the game.
Go hunt
Yeah.
for Charlie.
Yeah. And Ulfric, sorry.
Yes.
Take it off
That's
track.
important. It's important.
Talking about cats.
Of course. We have something. I think we can just go into the next one. We'll obviously bring it. But if you guys want to stay, we can bring in Bogdan. We can have a fourth with us.
The Boggers.
The microphone will be fine.
Come, Bogdan.
I'm just saying that. I'm assuming it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Maybe tack him on the end, John.
Yeah. If we
I can
quickly
swap out with Bogdan.
Yeah. Do you want to come in?
Yeah, Bogdan.
Right.
you
Let's
come
quickly
and- you come
swap
and
to
take-
the. Let's swap to the craft corner while we get Bogdan in. Did it. Got in the copter.
Popters.
Bogdan's here.
Hello. Where's the
Bogdan,
camera?
welcome
Hello.
back to the MM stream. How are you?
MM stream is pretty good. Yeah, excited to show you snap points.
Yes.
Which are new to the game.
Yes.
And
Happy Tren
they're
Day
very
to you.
cool.
They're very cool.
Should we jump straight into it?
Yeah, let's have a look. How do I?
Just back out. We're just in the collection right now.
We're going back. Okay, so I guess what
yeah.
are snap points?
Well, I'm going to start with an empty scene. So snap points are a new addition to Dreams.
Yeah.
That basically let you add your own sort of guides, effectively, to snap things together. And I guess you've seen some of them with the trend tracks that you were just showing.
Well, to be honest, we didn't actually throw in any trend tracks for people to see. So they didn't see
Okay.
them working.
Well, let's just make a cube for now, and we'll see if we can add some snap points here, and I'll show you sort of like the basic way that you set them up, and then we'll see some more interesting applications as well. So let's assume this is sort of like a trend track of some kind. So I'm going to sort of make a hole on this side.
I'll bring the chat in with me just in case there's some questions.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
So I imagine there will be. Hello, chat. You're now on my lap.
Sort of like a thing on this side.
I'm loving your little track piece, Bogdan.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
It's so cute.
Okay, so let's assume this is sort of some kind of piece that can snap in some way. So if you go into guides now, you'll see there's a new menu here called snap points. And you can open that up, and if you turn this on, it's as if you turn on like a guide, basically, that normally you would turn on grid or something, except this guide also lets you add new snap points to your scene. And you can add snap points to either groups or sculpts. And I believe you can also add them to other things. I guess we'll see. You know, it's actually
What do you
been
mean?
so long. So actually,
What do you mean
since-
other things?
I don't know. Did they work on strokes? I can't remember because
Ooh,
since
I don't know. I never did
since
any
I
on strokes.
originally did this work, a bunch of people have touched it. We have Tad has done a bunch of cool stuff on it. I actually maybe can't remember every single thing that it does. So I guess we'll see.
I mean, so I added the snap points to the Tren kit.
Okay, but let's add. So there's a bunch of buttons in here which are called positive snap point and negative snap point, and there's also a neutral snap point. So the idea with these is that they're kind of like magnets. So like positives and negatives repel, so you can't connect. Well, actually, those ones connect, but you can't connect positive to positive. But then there's also neutral, which connects regardless of polarity, effectively. So let's make this one a negative snap point. So I'm currently doing this in sculpt mode. So this snap point will be part of this sculpt, effectively. So I'll put that over here, and on the other side, I'll put in a positive snap point. And you'll see that they sort of have like a direction, because normally they're directional. So you kind of want them to be like this, and you might want to grid align them. So now that I've done this, when I, for example, turn off grid mode, you'll see that when I do this, they'll actually sort of snap into position. I guess I sort of like misaligned one of them, so let's make sure we got it right. I add this one here. So yeah, you kind of want to do a bit of like authoring to make sure that they're in the right position. And now when I do this, you'll see that they snap very nicely. So no matter kind of what your rotation is, they'll sort of like floop in and do a little transition. Anyway,
Is
you can
that
sort
floop?
of yeah, there's a little floop
That
sound.
is the,
I
the
can't hear the floop
professional
sounds, but I'm sure somewhere in the game a floop sound is being heard. So yeah, so that's kind of the basic way in which you can make a thing that just connects on two sides. One thing so there's a bunch of different kind of things you can do with snap points. Other than connecting them like this, if you use L2 on the DualSense or DualShock, you can grab them and they'll sort of pivot around that point. So you can do stuff like this. And then you can imagine using this to do cool kind of spirals and stuff like that. So yeah, it's L2 to basically free rotate around the pivot point. But one thing you'll notice is if I try to snap here, it'll be like, oh, I can't snap here because there's already a thing snapped here. So it lets you press L1 to effectively ignore the fact that something's already been snapped there. So you can basically continue. And I think in the Tren track, sometimes you have to do this.
Yes.
To attach certain things. So yeah, obviously for Tren, this is super useful because it lets you snap all the cool pieces together.
Yeah.
And some of them have, I think you can have up to 8 snap points.
Yep, 8.
There are other interesting applications other than just. Are there some
There's two
questions? Or-
so, someone's asking, do snap points work on paint as well, or is it?
Let's
just
find
sculpt?
out.
Yeah,
because
I never tried
do it
it.
Genuinely
live.
can't remember.
I never tried that.
Yeah.
So
No,
no,
they don't.
There you go.
However,
no.
you can,
Instantly.
because you can put them on groups.
put
You
it
can
in
have a
group,
group with
yeah.
just the paint in it, and then you can obviously snap groups of paints together, which is useful.
Someone's asking if they're only in stream shaping mode, but like obviously using them. But I'm sure people are going to find ways to
Yeah, I
do
mean,
cool things
because they're a
in gameplay.
guide,
Yeah.
so if they were in gadgets, then they'd come into play mode.
Yeah.
But because they are explicitly a guide, they can't.
Yeah. So I mean, if you've made an asset pack, and you've always wished you could sort of let people snap them together more easily, you can add snap points now, and on your description page you can be like, "There's snap points now," and everyone will be like, "Oh my God, snap points!"
And then final one before we move on. Freakers
Yeah.
just wanted to say hi.
Hello.
You rule. Moving on. There we go.
You also rule. The community rules. What was I going to say? Yeah.
Sorry, I
So
distracted you.
well, yes, I think I wanted to. So okay, so let's look at some interesting sort of other aspects of snap points. So if I find a snap point in here, you'll see that it's got a range. So this is the range at which it kind of like collects other things nearby and like snaps to them. So you can make this smaller or bigger. I'm assuming there's like a bloop, 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 bloop sound happening somewhere that I can't hear. UI sounds are cool, and
so cool.
Yeah, and I think you can pick these up, and there's some things you can do while you hold them, or perhaps so there's L1 and the directional buttons let you sort of change the category on the snap point. So so normally snap points all snap to each other as normal, but if you use categories, they'll only snap to other snap points of that kind of category. So you can sort of, I guess this is being used in the trend tracks in various
Using
ways.
so much, yeah. So for example, the pillars can only go underneath the trend track. Straps can only go on the sides of the trend tracks, just to make sure you don't have weird stuff happening.
Sweet.
Those categories are awesome.
Yeah, and there's a mode in which you can make your snap points snap in any axis. And I think you were explaining this to me earlier.
Yeah, you have to create a
moved.
new one.
So I think, yeah, let's make a new sort of, so leaving aside for a second the kind of trend approach of having these parts that connect on one side or on two sides. Let's make something like in a different model, like a floor piece. So if I just make something like this.
We have breaking news. We have the flooping noises happening.
I'm so glad the flooping
off
noise
to the
is
side,
there.
which is very exciting.
Yes, amazing. Okay, so when I make a new snap point, let's make a neutral one. You can press L3, and you can see that the directional arrow disappears, and now it's just like a neutral directional snap point. So if I was to put this over here, and let's put it sort of in the middle by changing the grid size, and I'll put one on the other side as well, just so we can play with all sides. So assuming I've done this correctly, when I pick up this piece, it'll snap, but it lets me snap it effectively in any orientation. So you can imagine using this to do architecture now, because this is a floor, but it's also potentially a wall. And you can sort of like do that, and let's turn on precise move as well and rotate it that way. So you can imagine doing your house like this, or your level. So you can make basically level pieces that will snap at any sort of 90-degree orientation. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, so other than sort of like, so Tren had a very clear application for them, which is the tracks. But we haven't yet used them this way to make basically asset packs that are like building packs or architectural packs. Or you can imagine, for example, say this wall here can have an attachment point here in the center. And perhaps it's actually not a neutral one, but let's say it's a neutral one for now. And we'll put it in the middle of the wall. And you can imagine, hey, this wall has an attachment for a wall decoration. And now, if I was to make some sort of torch or something, you can imagine that in your asset pack, this wall has one place in which if you were to put a torch, it would snap there, which would be very useful for people using your asset pack, basically. And again, it would sort of like be able to connect no matter how you, like, if I had put some on that side as well, they would also connect. Are there still any more of those Trenish pieces? Let's put one of these here, turn the grid off. Cool. I think I put it in a weird direction.
Nailed
That's
it.
fine. Yeah, absolutely nailed it. But yeah, so you can also sort of like just kind of go into a bit more detail. You can kind of pick up entire pieces and sort
That's
of
so cool.
snap them. And yeah, I like kind of doing. I guess with Tren, you probably use the sort of like smooth rotate a lot to sort of get like, or I guess you could use it if you wanted to make some really weird Tren tracks that rotate in all kinds of weird spiral directions.
I mean, they kind of all they work in the way that they work. That makes no sense.
They work the way they work.
Yeah, it's like if you want to do cool spiral stuff, there's certain ones you can use for doing that.
Yeah.
But then we don't necessarily use them in, I think I'd say more abstract terms like this. Yeah. Just also because Tren might have trouble tootling along on it. What's funny about that?
It's just a nice, funny word, isn't it? Tootling.
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 The action of a train.
Take off the G on the end.
So in a way, they're a little bit as if there was a grid that you could define yourself. In fact, if you can imagine making parts that are a grid, perhaps they're just like building blocks that have like pins that connect to each other.
Yeah.
Which would be very interesting. So once you've sort of made your asset pack or your scene, what might happen is now there's all these snap points. Snap points are cool, but there may be too many of them.
You heard him. You heard the man.
So what you might need to do is delete most of them, sadly. So you can use this
done
tool.
what you needed. You know, you've achieved your goal.
Actually, what does this do?
That's for the categories.
I see. Okay, cool. So if you go to snap point cleanup here, basically it's a tool that lets you delete your snap points. You can delete, also actually tells you how many there are. So this scene has 63. you can see there's a limit of 4,096. And it also tells you how many are currently attached. So actually most of these are attached. But often when you've made a level and you're done, there's all these snap points that are still there. And they are, they do have a small cost. So you can delete just the ones that are attached. And basically they don't matter anymore because you only care about the ones that are still exposed to new things you might connect to them. And you can also sort of delete things only in your selected subset of things in your scene. Like I could sort of select these things and go delete, and I can delete only selected, and it says there's 9 in that set, and I can delete those ones. And these ones no longer have snap points, basically. And on top of that, I think there's a thermometer as well.
Yeah, there is.
So if we go to a thermometer, this one, I guess they're under gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go in gameplay, and then they'll be quite low in this. Yeah, more details. And there you go.
Snap points. Yeah, so it's a percentage, but it's good to know there's 4,096 things that you can use. And I think that's sort of kind of sums them up.
Super powerful.
I think what will be really interesting to see is what people end up doing with these as part of like their existing asset packs, or moving forward any asset packs that look like they might benefit from. People in the past have said, "Damn, I really wish I could sort of like snap my parts together when I'm making a house, like in maybe like in the art stream content."
Yeah.
You could do that now. You could take the art stream content and remix it and add snap points to it, which would be very interesting.
Shall I show you quickly some application of it in the Tren kit?
Give a quick shout out to our good friend Inelius in the chat, and thank you for the raid.
We love you.
Happy Tren Day.
So Bogdan mentioned how there's a limit of 8. I was trying to think of what I could reference. You can have 8 snap points in a sculpt or in a group, and this one has a fair few.
Oh wow!
So we can see there's different ones going on. So you could spend some time just looking at the trend tracks and see where we use certain snap points.
Yeah.
But it's also that if I use this lovely feature, we can see that we've got these can all fit. Well, some of these can fit here, whereas some of them, you can see are then in the sculpt level. Because we've run out of space.
Yeah.
There's only 8. What are you going to do? Just have more groups.
Of course.
Or just use the sculpt. And I found the sculpt level really useful.
Yeah.
Just purely for that purpose. Because also, if you ungroup an object that has snap points in the group, you will lose the snap points if you ungroup it.
Gone.
Yeah. It does tell you, though. It'll be like...
You'd be warned.
So many snap points have gone because you ungrouped your thing.
You sure
Not in those words, but
that's the exact word.
You don't want to lose your snap points.
You don't want to lose your snap points.
So just some person comes.
Yeah, so just always remember about that. But yeah, you can see some lovely snap point usage. They honestly made Tren so much easier for making levels. Everyone having to previously use the grid and do certain degree rotations was just.
And I guess that's also how you could sort of add snap points to paint if you wanted to. You could put the paint in a group and then add snap points in the group. And then obviously you can just, and also because they nest, you can make all kinds of hierarchically snapping things.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I think that sort of covers everything.
I'm very excited for everyone to have some time with snap points if
Absolutely,
they've not already. And let us know. And if you've got any questions about them, please do let us know on social media. We can ask Bogdan.
Ask me.
Just bug Bogdan.
Well, thank you very much, Bogdan, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
That's right.
Round of applause. Great to see. Great to see. We are going to have one last break, and then we're going to bring in a few folks, and we're all going to try one of the not harder, tougher tracks in Tren to round things off. And you can all stay, of course, and try this out. But we're going to round up some people.
It's very easy to crash in that level.
Yeah, but we're going to give the challenge. So stay with us. We'll go over you can look at the nice craft corner, hear some nice music while we go grab people. And we will be
check
back.
out
The
Tren and the tote bag.
Yeah.
They're cool, right?
Very cool. Who made them?
I wonder who.
I wonder who made them. Have a look at them now, and we'll go grab some pens.
Yeah.
really high.
Right, we're obviously wrapping up the Tren launch celebration. So round of applause for Tren and everyone. Huge day, and of course can't go without saying the Dream is now available on PlayStation Plus for everyone around the world. Oh, there's the claps. I think our friends in the US got it at 5 o'clock our time, so a couple of hours, like an hour or so ago. So yes, Dreams is available on PlayStation Plus for free for anyone with a subscription. Go download it. It's so exciting to know that it's going to be a bunch of new dreamers in the Dreamiverse checking out and hopefully creating some things. And join us in our Twitch chats, on our social media, and ask the questions. Our lovely community will of course always be on hand to help out. And there's a bunch of documentation on docs.indreams.me, all sorts. Thumbs up from me. Theo, come on in.
There's a space. There's a space. There's space in here. Yeah, it's squishy. It's just a blank space.
So, if there is anything that you need to know as you're entering Dreams for the first time, please do let us know. It's very exciting. We're super thrilled that today is here and that you all finally can experience this. And we've been waiting to tell you this amazing news for a long time. And now it's here. It's great. But that goes, all that's fun and great, but we need to play a very hard track in Tren, and it's called, Jacob, what's it called?
The Infinite Track.
Now, Jacob, what is Infinite Track?
It's infinite.
Can you guess who made it?
What if a track but infinite?
So we're all gonna, everyone, if they want to, they don't have to. There's no pressure. We're gonna have a little go around and see who can do Infinite Track the best. And then, but really, the competition is between me and Jacob.
Yes. Oh yes.
Really.
Oh yes.
Jacob, are you gonna set us? Are you gonna set the standard here?
No. No. But I will. I will start. But I'm actually.
Because he's intimidating.
He is. Okay. Why doesn't Jacob?
No, I'm not that good at this. I'm not that good. You know, people have seen me play. There are people who've seen me play, and they should know that I'm not very good. Oh, is it on the other one? Is it? Which one is it in? Two. Three. And three. Cool. Well, now we can just watch the pop taxi.
Okay, so.
Oh yeah, because you've got to go up by the Meridian box.
Let's do a roll call. Who's going to have a go at an Infinite Track? John? Ryan said. This is Ryan, by the way. Ryan Wilkinson has been playing. If you've been watching the stream throughout the day and you've seen the game going on in the background, that's been Ryan.
And Theo.
So that's big wins.
Oh, it's on the expert.
Yeah. So we've got Ryan's going to go, John's going to have a go, you have a go, Theo's having a go.
John should go last.
John should go last.
Quite good.
Pablo, you going to have a go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Liam?
was playing this the other day.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm mediocre at best. Yeah. There's people far better at me than Tren than I am.
Okay, we'll need to try and keep
I'm good at making the tracks.
Tom, you going to have a go? Infinite Track?
Who's the best Tren?
Oh, yes.
Chloe.
Are we just being ruthless where it's one go each?
Yeah, Chloe would.
I think let's have a. Do we have a practice?
Should we
go and a go?
just demonstration?
Just one go. Just one go.
Rubbish.
Yeah. Okay. Lawless. But Jacob gets to set
Should we
example.
explain this track as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Go for it. While Jacob's giving the example.
So this track is a randomly generated procedural, as you might like to call it, level. So the layout of the track is defined as you go.
Timing. Horrible.
1 star? Do you get 1 star?
Maybe.
We're giving the demonstration.
Close.
We're giving the demonstration.
Close.
Right.
So we'll notice.
Keep going while we explain.
Yes.
The next time we play, it will be different.
Okay.
And you're being hunted down by these two nasty auto trends.
From Breckle.
Yeah,
From
red
Breckle.
Trens. Oh,
That was
man.
awful.
Those switches, man.
Oh, they get me every time. Like watching the one with the, it's like a 4-way kind of switch intersections
Yeah,
earlier.
oh God.
And was it John? Was it you just doing it perfectly?
No, not me, definitely
No, was
me.
it Kat? I was like, someone was just doing it perfectly. I was like, they get me.
Right, so when is Jacob's actual turn?
Well, are we done? We're done explaining now.
Yeah,
We-
explain.
Oh, right, thank you.
All right.
This
no,
This is your turn.
no, his next because
Oh.
he didn't know this was going to be his turn.
No, it's
did he?
fine. It's fine. It's
Sure.
fine. Sometimes
Okay.
you don't. Sometimes you
Okay,
don't
right,
know
this
these
is your
things.
turn. This is your
I
turn.
think he's like, this is my turn.
Oh! It's those
I'm just
switches.
saying, because it was going so well.
Did you get 1
Yeah.
star though this time? Yeah.
I'll take it.
star,
I'll take
okay.
it. If anything, it allows me to ramp up and get better.
Who's
Thank
next?
you, Jacob.
Who's
Go
going?
easy.
Ryan. Ryan's going.
Yeah.
Also, can we give a shout out to Tren Wreck,
Yes.
the official theme tune of me and Jen.
Banger.
Excellent work, Tom. Tom actually.
We We kept calling it Tren.
Todd Baker.
Tren Crash.
Tren Crash.
It's not. It's Tren Wreck.
Yeah.
Right, let's do it.
I do have some practice to do.
Oh!
No, that's risky. Risky.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna smash this.
Yeah, I got this.
Say like 59 seconds.
Yeah, I got to just before a minute.
Oh! That's the sign of a true skill, though. That recovery.
Yeah. Didn't bottle it.
Oh!
I jinxed you on something.
The procedural is, you
I
know.
was about to say, maybe if there's lag on the screen.
No, there isn't.
There isn't.
That was practice.
Bless it, I tried to like, it's fine.
Who's next?
We're doing a practice and a main.
What if the practice is better?
Well, yeah, daily practice.
That's in the procedural generation is what makes it so like brilliant because you know you could get a beautiful track layout in the first go, and then you just get. I've seen people have like 5 of these in a row. It's that is always horrid.
Have you noticed the spotlight follows you?
Ah, the details.
Okay, go. This is love.
We got
This is good.
no, you got this.
I did absolutely distracting. I'll press those. Yeah. I'm good at it now.
Oh, yeah, you very good though. Excellent. X47.
Alright, Pablo, do you want to have a go over there? Sure. Okay, right, so 47, 79, 2 stars.
Very nice.
So that's
I think we can
round
get.
up to 48.
We'll get
48. Yeah, everyone's responsible for their best score.
48. Right, go on then, Pabs.
You know what, Tom? It's the first time I play for real.
This is the first time I played for real? Okay,
Let's do it.
oh, here we go then.
Triangle.
Right.
So you got like what, 48?
You got 2 times. Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The distance.
Practice run.
You gotta be like 5 steps ahead.
I was saving myself to this day to play.
This is the moment. Sorry, this is my help.
I feel like we need like a shoutcast.
Reddy's going up to the right. Hey, take a left corner.
Oh no, okay, that's
Beautiful work from Pablo.
Ready.
Right, there's a couple of devious turns coming up here now. Come on.
Taking that left.
Nice. This is a great run. This is a great
Go!
run.
Oh my
Taking the
God.
confetti run.
You hate to see it.
Wonderful.
So that's 40. Are we going 44? We're rounding up.
We round whichever the closest.
Okay, so 43. So 43, 48. What was yours?
I think it was 28.
28. Who's going? Who are on?
Who's next?
Control next.
Erin.
Erin's going. Here we go, Erin.
Go!
Erin, of course, behind.
Yeah, I can't cope with the pressure.
Erin made Ninja Octopus, so she could fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is our brain.
Yeah, this is
you
my
ever-
brain for the past.
yeah.
This is your brain on
I'm not disgusted.
No. Hashtags.
Wild.
Oh, you're good.
Oh my god!
Recovery. That was very good. That was excellent.
Yeah, 40. And that was your practice. That could be.
Okay, go again.
Yeah. Take the best of the two.
You got this.
Press the wrong button.
There you go.
Yeah, my knees.
Oh, you're on the thing. I'm still on the floor.
I'm not tall enough for that.
Have some extra cushion.
If I was on my
Someone need a
Cushions for
cushion?
knees.
Yeah, nice.
There we go. Erin on that second go.
I've got one.
Oh! Oh my god, what's happening?
Skill. Ninja skill.
That was some Dominic Toretto stuff, man.
Oh my god.
Take it out.
I'm okay with
Is that a 40 second?
59.
John's going in. Here we go. That's
Oh,
now
here we go.
a nice little story here where we had a few people play. One has some huge members to the studio. John was playing Tren, and they just looked surrounded and watched you.
Influence.
It's very sweet.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Okay.
Come on, John. No pressure.
Oh dear God.
Easy 3 coming in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh come on.
Oh, starting with 2. That's 2 switches. Yeah.
Oh my.
Because they can really slow you down sometimes if you like have to play other things.
Very controlled from John. This is very,
Yeah.
very relaxed.
Yeah, he's got this.
Using the Breckport engine.
We don't normally see this kind of behaviour from Beech.
He is the father of Tren.
He is. Oh, look
Oh,
at that.
beautiful. I was like, you landed on it, so.
It's very elegant.
Yeah.
No home.
In all my 10 minutes of commentating on the track, I've never seen such displays.
Nice.
John has the cheat code.
Yeah. He's actually.
Oh. Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh,
He's
look
got
at
this in the bag.
This is crazy.
I'll be
That-
back to see in a minute.
Are we about to see the
I'm talking about the drift into derailment.
Oh
my God.
Oh, I do one more. One more.
You got this. You got this.
I'll accept losing to John.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Trend's kids. Yeah.
Oh, these are, yeah. Those are horrors when you don't come at the right time.
I think I don't have to do like coordination to like process what needs to be clicked when.
Welcome to my world. You know, playing.
Oh no, I'll be a disaster anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, John X is currently
Finishing touches.
Oh, that was intensive.
Oh! Nice. Oh, nice. Tactical boost. Very good.
That was very sweet.
How do you do that?
Isn't it?
Oh, nice straight. Get to the minute.
yeah, see that
Lovely,
minute,
lovely.
see that minute. We saw that minute.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, he's doing a drift. He's doing a drift.
Oh my goodness. That's a triple.
Oh, what a run. What a run.
That was amazing. You gonna follow John? Oh, Theo's throwing. Theo's I can follow. What was that then? What was that?
113.
As long as I made over a minute, I'm happy. I don't mind if people beat me, as long as I made it over a minute.
All right. Theo, you got the confidence?
Theo also has practice as well.
Yes, this is true.
What that I've played Tren before.
Yeah. There we go.
The gauntlet's been dropped. Oh, God, that was frightening. Yeah.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, I hope you get some creative horror tracks.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you wait.
Horror Tren.
Yeah, wait till entropy changes.
Ghost. Can we get a ghost trend?
A ghost trend. Yeah, we're talking about ghost trend.
Yeah.
I'd like some like side tracks and kind of like jump scare out.
No, please.
Don't give them ideas.
Yeah, they're awful. Yeah, entropy with a train kit is going to be good.
Oh yeah.
If you have to drive the trend with the wibble wobble bowl on top of it,
Or jack
and like balance it.
Oh.
No, I'll willingly give them ideas.
Okay, but you're throwing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my punishment for throwing that into the world. This is a beautiful one so far, not gonna lie.
Very clean. Very clean.
I was worried after practice, but
Oh my goodness.
it's getting a bit tight, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
goodness.
Camera's a bit risky, but
Oh my.
Up on that minute mark.
Oh my goodness.
One.
What?
Well, at least it keeps it entertaining. Plays for the crowd, plays for the crowd. Nice.
Oh, 113. That was
So
close.
once you broke the minute
Like that
though.
kids society. Never experienced an atmosphere like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it for it's electric.
All right. This is going bad.
Come on, man.
This is going to be bad.
You got a minute in you, I know it.
I got 2, mate.
That's the spirit.
Ah!
Oh dear God.
Sorry, it's a practice going.
That's your one practice now. No pressure.
Second guessing of yourself.
I was like, misplaced confidence.
No pressure.
You're just dizzy.
Getting a bit tight.
Just don't touch your sides.
This is a bit rough.
That was rough, though.
Oh, no.
I'm so bad at it. Right, I'm done.
Come on, Kat, show us how to
You know,
play.
this is more impressive though. It's like a normal player versus like the pro.
Yeah, I'm actually giving that.
Yeah,
I'm giving that
yeah. Play up to the
demonstration.
contrast.
I think it looks like a lot easier than it actually is.
Yeah.
So like when you see like obviously John Beech doing it, it's like a lot. He makes it look so easy.
He
but
does.
now that you see Tom doing it, you know.
Yeah.
You know how
I
it's not
think
that
that
easy.
was
It's a veiled compliment.
It is a compliment.
You're gonna stand. Oh, Kat's standing, everybody.
Well, my knees have
Stand.
fallen asleep.
Yeah, that's fair.
I had to pause because starting again.
So many branches.
Oh!
Yeah. So many, loads of branches. The distance is, yeah.
Yeah. You got this.
No, you definitely can.
You gotta beat me.
Definitely. Yeah,
You can't
getting
beat-
game
you can't-
pose.
You can't be beaten by me.
RNG, yeah. Okay, this is quite a nice stretch, so
Yeah, nice. I get too distracted by the sound of the clip. I'm like, it's really nice clip.
Beautiful.
The trick is don't blink.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what I'm doing.
Oh! Yeah.
I got 20 seconds. So
Got 20 seconds.
Yeah, 37.
All right. Well done, well done. Tom, have you had a go? Tom's going in. Tom's going in. Realised that was you. I was like, who's next to me?
The red trend.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'll do it.
Yeah, you'll close your eyes.
Oh! That's alright, man.
Yeah, they know after this stream I'll be optimizing my run. Yeah. I will never come back. This is the origin of the underdog story.
On Thursday, we'll revisit.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
You could do it, Tom.
It's like Rocky
Someone
montage.
needs to make like a emotional video, and like when you like.
Yeah, I used to be awful at Trent.
Oh, man.
It's the clicking, man. It's the clicking. Alright, where are we at? So is that everyone here has had Maggie? You want in on?
Liam hasn't had
You want to go?
Jen,
Go on, Maggie.
Liam.
Jen's
I
had.
feel like I should be good sport, but it's not going to be pretty.
Do you want to?
It's not going to be pretty.
It's fine, we've already seen Tom, so it's fine.
Yeah, you can't do worse than me.
It's the switches. Has anyone let me like hot tips on switches?
I'm not going to give you any.
Take it slow.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
that's
That's
Use
what I
the
can't
joystick.
do.
Here we go.
You got to be literally like 2-3 steps ahead.
Did you hear her advice? Use the joystick.
Use the joystick.
Oh!
Yeah.
Play the game.
I like the idea, the tip of like looking slightly ahead of where you're going.
Yeah, look ahead.
Almost like a rhythm
Look ahead,
game.
but not too
Yeah.
far ahead.
Yeah, like sight reading.
Just if you see a branch,
My
get
eyes
ready
just
to
gonna be going in
focus.
two different
I
directions.
think you're playing like a rhythm action game,
Yeah.
but it's a train on a track.
Yeah, there's no like even rhythm.
There's no rhythm.
Keeping it suspenseful. Keeping it suspenseful.
I like the gentle.
Bold strategy to break.
I like the gentle cruising.
Yeah.
Cruising to demise.
They'll just probably be like, be considerate, let me turn. That's the spooky thing though, because if you miss the branch. Just the polite
I
stopping.
don't know what I'm doing. Give me one more go.
One more.
It's the left joystick, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be close enough.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
right.
could preemptively hold it in the direction you
You
need
just
to.
keep hold of it. You keep hold of the shit.
Yeah, just hold it in the direction.
Just think of the trend man.
No,
One
not
more.
like
It's the start of the addiction.
I'm too busy thinking
The addiction.
ABH, always be holding.
Always be holding.
Okay.
Yes.
It's so successful. Just slow and then like bang.
Oh my god. Put me in explore mode.
Explore the infinite track.
Maggie.
Ollie and Lisa want in on. Maggie go first. Maggie go first.
Maggie go.
Yeah.
But I need to come to the front.
Yeah, come on. Ollie and Lisa come join. And Luke, you gonna come in?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, go on.
I feel like
Everyone come in. We've got the stream is.
Liam, you can do better than me.
Get John next week.
No.
6 seconds. Well, 7 if you round it up. I'll budget a little bit. So you guys can got it.
Let's go.
Oh, we've not seen this kind of combo.
The boost is high. I'm getting stressed. Let's
Yeah,
go,
no,
Maggie.
that's the reds there.
There's one corkscrew.
Oh my goodness. Oh, she's gone up. She's up on her knees now.
Maggie's in gamer pose.
Intensity.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
How's your bedtime?
Okay, we need to be quiet. Everyone. For Maggie, let's. Everyone. Don't worry that we're streaming to 100 odd people right now. Right?
Yeah, it's fine. Maggie demands it. If that's not selling point to play this back, I don't know why it's there. Very nice. They know what She's very slick. Right, full boost now.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh!
The jump scare of it just falling. Free fall.
Well done, Maggie.
Well done, Maggie.
39.
Well done, Maggie.
Come on, Lisa, do better.
Okay, there's a lot of shiny lights in my face. Do you want to go? No, it's cool, it's cool.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's too suspenseful.
Like
Oh, big branch, big branch.
Backseat running.
Oh, yeah, so.
That was so good, that was a good one. Okay.
Yeah, practice.
Sorry, I have to lean
Game
in,
of pose,
guys.
game of
I have to
pose.
lean in, I have to lean
It's
in.
fine. Those branches where it like alternates, you got 4 of them, those are just horrible though. So that's the worst.
Left.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
Right, saving us the loop. If you get like a loop and then a corkscrew and then like a swinging block, it's something like, oh god.
Well done, Lisa.
So
Well
round
done,
up to a nice
Lisa.
30.
Yeah, it's a nice 30. That's a nice 30. Alright, we've got Luke, are you trending? Are you trending after Ollie? I was gonna say we've got 2 people left.
We've got to get Liam in.
Oh, Liam?
Yeah. Come on. You can do it.
Alright, 3 left. Go on, Ollie.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the boost.
It's definitely harder than others.
Double 10.
I
did notice you the way you turned.
Oh, nice. Respect it, sometimes you've got to go for it.
Yeah.
Nice though, with on a branch as well. Very.
Oh! That was great. You got the other guy. It's a nice 34. Nice 34.
You did well. You did well. Very good.
Go on,
Tom, are we doing a competitive train as an esport?
Yes, yes, it is
After
now.
this stream.
Can we get uniforms?
We've reached 90 decibels. Oh, fantastic. We've got my earplug. Oh, so close to like, so beautiful.
Well done. Well done, Ollie. Alright, Luke, you going in? You got this, man. Luke
I think we've seen all the range.
Shout out to Luke. Luke's been running the show.
Rage quit.
Yeah. What was it? 5 seconds.
They were 5-3.
Probably better than me. There you go.
Kick off with a ramp. Nasty branch.
Get
Do you want to get in close? Yeah, they go, no prisoners.
Oh yeah, get in.
You watch him drop like 3 minutes now.
Yeah.
Right.
Move 6 inches and the score. Excellent.
Oh!
Outrageous again. Outrageous.
Again.
No rage quitting here. Deep breath. Race your inner trend.
Maggie gets silence.
Oh, that was pretty sick though. Star point. Star point.
Liam.
Liam, you got it. Well done, Luke. Well done, Luke.
Very good.
I definitely don't have this.
You got this.
88 always be
I know.
Yes.
Oh!
See?
Second strong start.
Yeah, I did that right?
You can tell who worked on the train.
Yeah.
On this. Yeah, isn't that my level was one of the hardest ones to do?
The branches are horrible. The branches.
You going again?
I should really be better.
You going one more time, One more time, Liam.
Yeah, if you sing that, it might help. Maybe it'll help. I don't know.
No, we're gonna get good copyright.
One more trend. One more trend.
Yes!
Oh, nice.
Generous, a bit more generous.
Oh! All right, Liam, well done. Well done. Oh, Holly's going in.
Let's go, Holly.
Shout out to Holly Tang, our community manager. She's been bringing in the guests, making sure everyone's...
She's been bringing in the guests but not the speed.
I think Mom is trying to sabotage you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Having said that, you're doing really
Doing
well. You're
so
doing
much-
so well.
Yeah,
like, you know.
I'm doing a bad job of sabotage, if it's the case.
You know what though? I'm getting such an easy level compared to.
So chill. It's like one bright appears.
You did. Thanks, you got a pip.
20 seconds, yeah. Again, again. Roll there.
It's just so easy to pick up.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't say easy again.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's silly.
Yeah.
Straight to the branch.
Lucky the first time. There you go, Tom.
Well done, Holly. Well done, Holly. Give her a round. That's everyone.
Beech Corp reign supreme.
The real winner is Beech.
Yes.
I wish the shirt could do this in real life.
Imagine you switch a button and it goes away.
Adapt to the surroundings.
All right, well, thus ends our Tren Launch Day celebration. Thank you, everybody, for watching with us, hanging out with us. Everyone on the John Eckersley, come in on the camera. Coming in on the camera.
Yeah,
Get in. There he is. There he is.
Wait, right there.
Yeah.
Like,
Tom Coleman's over there now. Hello, Tom. Thank you to all of our phenomenal guests, the Beech Corp folks, the Impsider folks, Level Design folks, John Beech. I just kind of called you Beech Corp.
That's right. Beech Corp.
John and Theo, Ollie, Lisa, Tom,
Bogdan.
Bogdan, who's gone to do some more Snap Point stuff, I assume. Pablo's over there. Thank you, Pablo, for coming in. Yeah, I think I thanked everybody. Thank you to everyone that helps put the show together. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. Siobhan, thank you, Siobhan. Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone at MM helping make Tren possible and everything. And yeah, thank you to everyone watching. I hope you all really enjoy Tren. Thank you to anyone that's downloaded Dreams off PlayStation Plus already. Can't wait to welcome you into the Dreamverse. And of course, I'm sure we'll see more and more of you as the week goes by. It's free throughout all of August for all PlayStation Plus subscribers. And we're very, very, very excited. So without further ado, I'm going to say stay safe, stay healthy, peace and love. Everyone's going to say bye. Bye. Bye, everybody.